much are the FIFA World Cup games costing Vancouver taxpayers? We should find out this morning. We are set to learn more about the next phase of the contentious Broadway subway project as ongoing construction continues to be a source of frustration for businesses. And this raging fire in Penticton leads to a local state of emergency. We'll have the latest from the Okanagan. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, May 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. The province is expected to give an update on the Broadway subway project this morning. BC Transportation Minister Mike Farnworth will be joined by Federal Minister of Housing Gregor Robertson and representatives from the City of Vancouver and TransLink for the announcement. The project, which has been in the works for more than 5 years, is a 5.7-kilometer extension of the existing Millennium Line SkyTrain service stretching along the Broadway corridor to UBC. Some businesses in the area say the ongoing construction has led to a significant decline in customers. The new line is set to open next fall. Well, the price tag for FIFA in Vancouver is back in the spotlight today. The BC government is set to release updated numbers this morning on what hosting World Cup games could cost and what the province expects to get back in return. Our Craig Krause joins us live in Vancouver with more this morning. Good morning, Craig. So questions have been swirling for months about how much taxpayers will ultimately spend. What do we know?
Well, good morning, Carrie. So the province, it was just last June, a year ago, when they came out with an estimate of how much this could cost. They gave an estimate of about $532 million to $624 million. Whether that's still the case, though, remains unclear. But we are expected to hear from Ministers Ravi Kahlon and Ann Kang this morning, and they are going to roll out the updated numbers along with details on the economic impact of the tournament and what that could have on the region. Vancouver is set to host 7 matches during that tournament, and the province is expecting about 350,000 fans to flood Vancouver for the games and another million to visit BC over the next 5 years. BC Place also receives significant upgrades as part of the overall cost, including new elevators, a scoreboard, locker rooms, and the temporary grass field. And the report from Canada's budget officer estimated that the cost between Toronto and Vancouver would be around $1 billion. But again, we'll have those details on those new numbers later on this morning. Carrie? Okay, Craig Krause joining us live this morning. Thank you, Craig. Well, the PNE Fan Festival is supposed to be a way to be a part of the FIFA action without the World Cup ticket prices, but it appears many are staying on the sidelines, at least for now. CTV's Martin McMahon has more.
Hastings Park will be the site of BC's largest fan destination during the tournament, but a quick look at the Ticket Leader website where the premium seats are being sold shows many tickets still available. Depending on the day and the match, you could pay as little as $44 or more than $100 for reserved seating at the new amphitheater. But for the head of the Vancouver Host Committee, there's little concern about sales.
People are starting to make their summer plans. I think kids are still in school, and a number of us, we make our plans as we get closer and closer to the end of the school year. We don't have that concern. And then insofar as the knockouts go, at this stage, we don't know who's going to be in those knockout matches. So people are still also waiting to see what's going to happen as the tournament itself unfolds.
That confidence is shared by the tourism minister as well, despite the slow start to sales outside of the final and matches involving Canada.
I can't really comment too much on Vancouver's budget, but I know that the tickets will sell well. According to the patterns of previous World Cups that were hosted in different cities.
We asked people if they think it's worth it to watch a game at the Fan Festival.
I think as the tournament gets through towards the final stages, I would definitely consider going. Good to be part of the hype and the vibe, and not everyone can get into the stadium as well for those key games for sure.
Honestly, $60 to just sit on the big screen, that's not something I'd consider.
I mean, if you can't be inside the game, the next best thing would be to be down there and have some fun.
The city would not directly answer what the financial consequences would be if many of these Fan Fest tickets go unsold, but is promising to provide more information at its update on tournament costs tomorrow. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, there are only hours left for members of the BC Conservatives to vote for who they want to be the next leader of the party. Electronic voting cuts off at 8 this morning ahead of the official announcement of the new leader tomorrow. Party members are voting in a preferential ballot where they are asked to rank their choices from first to fifth. The 5 candidates looking to replace former leader John Rustad are former BC Cabinet Minister Ian Black, commentator Caroline Elliott, former MP Carrie Lynn Finley, current MLA Peter Millibar, and entrepreneur Yuri Fulmer. Well, to the Okanagan now. Penticton has issued a local state of emergency after a massive fire at a long-term care home under construction. It's being called devastating to seniors in the region. This fire was reported around 10 Wednesday night and quickly escalated into a 3-alarm blaze with 60 firefighters on site. An updated evacuation order was issued Thursday afternoon for 10 nearby properties due to an unstable crane at the site. No injuries have been reported. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Ma says the province is committed to ensuring that the Skaha Seniors community gets built. The 200-bed project was expected to be finished in 2028. Well, 4 people have been arrested in connection with an alleged cheating scheme at BC casinos. Investigators say the suspects defrauded casinos out of more than $200,000. 2 men and 2 women were arrested in Vancouver earlier this month after they were flagged by the Independent Gambling Control Office. Officers seized about $330,000 in cash during a subsequent search that is believed to be the proceeds of crime. Well, hundreds lined up to check out the opening of one of Vancouver's biggest new developments. Oak Ridge Park Mall is part of phase 1 of a years-long multi-billion-dollar project. The first phase spans close to 3 million square feet, including the new high-end shopping mall, featuring retailers like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Sephora. Shoppers could also take a break and get some sunshine on the roof, which has a large outdoor park. Project near Cambie and West 41st Avenue will eventually house more than 6,000 residents in 3,300 homes.
Oak Ridge has already supported 30,000 construction jobs, and over the course of its development, and it's expected to create approximately 5,300 full-time jobs once completed.
Oak Ridge Park is one of the biggest retail and residential construction projects in North America. It's expected to be around 5 million square feet with a total cost of about $6.5 billion. Yes, I went there yesterday, Mark. It was so many people, I couldn't believe it. It's nothing like the old mall. Let me just say that right now. If you remember what that was like.
I remember that, right? I was going to ask you that they still have the kids' play area there, but I don't think they do, right?
No.
It's the adult play area now, right?
It really is, yes.
Yeah, it looks good. I saw all the pictures. I saw your pictures, and
it's
man,
beautiful.
It looks impressive. Yeah, like to pay it for a visit. You know.
Take your money.
No, well, maybe leave that behind too. All right, good morning. Let's get a look at your weather. CTV weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. It's more than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. On this Friday morning, it's starting off a little different. It is mostly cloudy, 13 degrees, and the wind is very light out of the northeast. But we will see some showers coming later on this morning, and that will continue into the, well, not by the afternoon, by about lunchtime around 1:30. There might be a couple of isolated ones left out in the valley, but other than that, it should start clearing up for mainly sunny afternoon. And then tomorrow, we'll start off with some cloud, and yes, there could be a couple of more showers tomorrow morning, and then clearing again in the afternoon as we'll settle down and get back to that sunny weather and somewhat warmer weather too. But showers are on the tap this morning, and then in the afternoon, it'll start to clear. We'll reach 19 degrees later on, and it'll be partly cloudy tonight with lows of about 15. So we'll check out that 5-day forecast and more. Got that coming up in about 10 minutes. Carrie.
Okay, shaping out to be a good day after all.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Mark. 6:08 right now. It's been more than a decade since we reached stage 3 of watering restrictions, but it could happen sooner than later.
We're looking at a drought forecast for the summer.
When it's expected, you'll need to scale back even further on water usage due to drought conditions. We'll have that still to come. But first, changes can soon be coming to the Granville Street Bridge. What a Vancouver councillor is proposing that could save lives. That's coming up next. Welcome back, everyone. Suicide prevention measures could soon be coming to the Granville Street Bridge. It comes only weeks after a tragic death. A warning to you, some may find the details of this story difficult. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more.
For more than 3 decades, Jeremy Patterson has helped shepherd locals and tourists through False Creek on these ferries. But one aspect of the job he didn't train for was pulling people out of the water who died by suicide from the Granville Street Bridge.
Wasn't something that I had thought about when I took the job, and depending on the incident and the outcome, sometimes it was a happy ending and sometimes not.
A Vancouver City Councillor is introducing a motion next week to prioritize suicide prevention barriers on the bridge. 2 years ago, a similar motion was approved, but in March, Council voted to remove the funding from its 2027 to 2030 capital plan.
A couple of weeks ago, staff had indicated that they didn't think this should be included in the upcoming capital plan, but we think that should be revisited.
Earlier this month, a woman fell to her death off the bridge after experiencing a mental health episode.
We know that these kinds of incidents are very, very often based on an impulse, and that if we're able to kind of prevent the possibility of following through on that impulse, we can save that life. That's why bridge barriers are so important.
Vancouver police data shows there were 21 calls in 2024 and 25 calls last year related to incidents involving suicides, deaths, or mental health crisis on the bridge. In 2017, barriers were installed on the Burrard Street Bridge, and in New Westminster, councillors pushed for them on the Stalawassam Bridge.
I was hearing from mothers and families of people who had lost people, and who had lost people in a preventable way.
The City of Vancouver says fencing on Granville Bridge is a priority. If the motion passes, the city will share the costs with the province and the feds. For those who have become impromptu first responders, they're hoping change will come soon.
It's unfortunate, but it's something that has to be done.
Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
If you or someone you know needs help, the Suicide Crisis Helpline is available 24 hours a day. To reach the helpline, just call or text 988, and if you need immediate assistance, call 911 or go to the nearest hospital. Well, to a major development now in the legal battle between private property rights and Aboriginal title. CTV's Rob Buffum has more on the move from Canada's highest court and what it could mean for a controversial case here in BC.
Are listening carefully, Honourable Speaker.
The legislative spring session ended like it began, with feistiness.
10 more years.
Interim opposition leader Trevor Holford teeing off on the Premier, including for a poorly received budget and flip-flops on reconciliation legislation.
We have never had a government in this province, never had a Premier in this province, that has overpromised and underdelivered as the one that we currently have.
But Thursday, the NDP were thrown a potential lifeline on the private property rights file that's become highly contentious after the Cowichan Tribes decision last August, where the BC Supreme Court found Aboriginal title superior to private property, a case that sparked worry from property owners and an appeal from the NDP. The Supreme Court of Canada has declined to hear the appeal of a New Brunswick Court of Appeal case that favored private property rights over Aboriginal title.
Our arguments are what the court found in New Brunswick. The arguments that the province made here about private property being protected. So we think it's very interesting that the Supreme Court of Canada decided not to hear that case, so therefore leave that law in place.
This Aboriginal law lawyer says the AG has reason to be happy.
The fact that the Supreme Court of Canada has denied leave is hugely helpful, because the New Brunswick Court of Appeal has decided the issues somewhat differently, quite differently than the trial judge in the Cowichan case.
The Cowichan Tribes case is still mired in legal wranglings at the trial court level and likely won't be heard by the BC Court of Appeal for a year, and longer still before it makes its way to the country's highest court. Expect more desk pounding here in the meantime when they return in the fall.
Remember, these desks cost lots of money. Be careful.
Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
Well, a rare copy of a medieval manuscript telling the tale of King Arthur and the Holy Grail is heading to auction. So this 13th century tome has been in private hands for more than 700 years. The text is one of 3 illuminated manuscripts from the Lancelot Grail cycle known to be in private collections and the earliest to appear at auction. Complete with 126 illustrations, it's expected to fetch up to $3.7 million Canadian when it hits the auction block at Christie's in July. Well, here's something you might not want to see as we head into amusement park season. Thrill seekers stuck mid-ride at a park in Texas. How long they were left hanging there before rescue crews could get them down, we'll have that still to come. But first,
we're looking at a drought forecast for the summer.
Metro Vancouver has been under stage 2 watering restrictions for nearly a month now, but more could be coming. We'll break down the why and when, coming up next.
Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning. We can pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. Possibilities are endless. Today's code word is SAVE. Head to the contest page at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter SAVE with your info for your chance to win. Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest. Good luck.
Well, soccer fans of Scotland are calling on the U.S. to make haggis legal again.
Please proceed to the security check.
You can't take that to America, pal. Ha ha.
Okay, well, Scotland's national dish has been banned since 1971 because it contains sheep lungs, which U.S. authorities have declared unfit for human consumption. So now a Scottish butcher is behind a campaign to lift the ban, at least for the tournament. Of course, we're talking about the World Cup. Okay, well, first of all, I didn't know that it was banned in the U.S. I had no idea. It's been banned for 54 years.
Yeah, that was news to me, too. Have you ever had it? Have you tried
I
it?
have had haggis once, and, you know, it was kind of like pate.
Everybody says once.
Oh, I mean, I just haven't had the opportunity. I haven't been around the ceremony, but, you know, I would do it again. Hey, sure.
I tried it when I was a carnivore, and, you know, it was okay. But with all respect to my Scottish friends, I like the chocolate sprinkles on toast that my Dutch ancestors came up with.
You would prefer that?
I would prefer that much.
Okay, fair enough.
and if they ban that, I'm in big trouble.
Well, I actually am part Scottish, so I really need to lean into this a little bit more.
There you
go.
Maybe. You better embrace it, right? All right, let's get to your weather for this Friday morning, which may start out a little bit wet. It is cloudy at the moment and 13 degrees, so we're seeing a little bit of a break in that cloud cover, but the showers are coming. And here, look at our almanac today, and we had a trifecta. Today's high will be 19. Our average is 19. And last year, we hit about 19 degrees. On this date in 1983, we set our daily record, 30 degrees back in 1983. And sunset tonight, just after 9 o'clock. So there are the showers that move through, but they move through fairly quickly. So they'll be gone by the afternoon. We'll start to see that cloud cover break up a little bit for a nice mix of sun and cloud. There might be a couple of rogue ones around early tomorrow morning, but then it'll start clearing out and turning sunny again. So we've got a couple of good days coming up just in time for the weekend. Port Hardy will be 14 today, and yes, we'll see some showers in the morning. Early showers, too, through Campbell River, Comox, also out at Port Alberni. Nanaimo, the same thing. Tofino will be a mix of sun and cloud with highs of 15, a little drier. And then look for some showers and then sunny breaks later in Victoria with highs of 17. Same conditions across the Sunshine Coast, 17 in Sea Shelton, Pell River, up to Sea to Sky region. Showers this morning, then breaks in the cloud for both Squamish and Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, we'll see rain this morning, gone by the afternoon, clearing up, and temperatures staying at around 19 degrees. So still staying pretty good for this time of year. And then tomorrow, we'll see more of a mix of sun and cloud. And then Sunday, we're looking at an even warmer day, 18 to 21 degrees inland. And then Monday and Tuesday, not looking too bad either. A nice mix of sun and cloud as well. And temperatures back in the 20s. Karen.
Yeah, going to get a little bit warmer. Okay. Yep. Thanks for that, Mark.
Okay.
So as we've seen more hot, dry weather here in BC, water restrictions are expected to increase in Metro Vancouver, marking the earliest the region has ever moved to stage 3 restrictions. But as CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, it's not only the weather that's causing water woes.
This may be the only way to water your garden very soon. Using sprinklers or soaker hoses could soon be off limits.
We're looking at drought forecast for the summer. We've got a very low snowpack.
Stage 3 water restrictions could become a reality in the next 2 weeks, the first time Metro Vancouver has made the step so early in the season.
Last time we went in, it was stage 2 in July, stage 3 in August, and that was in 2015, the severe drought year.
Conserving is needed to protect drinking water and ensure emergency services aren't impacted. Residents will receive 1 week's notice before a move to stage 3, where watering gardens, filling pools, and washing surfaces, vehicles, and boats are strictly prohibited.
It's been driven by the multitude of factors, and the fact that we know demand goes up when the hot temperatures come, and all forecasts are that the temperatures are going to start to pick up significantly in June.
The move is also due to a new water supply tunnel through Stanley Park, which will replace an existing water main. Metro Vancouver says for construction to continue, the First Narrows crossing, one of the region's key supply pipes, has been out of service since last fall.
We're just not seeing the results we would have hoped for under stage 2. Like the use in May has been higher than it was last year in May when we were in stage 1.
The goal is not to bring in stage 3 unless absolutely necessary, but residents and businesses should be prepared as the warm, dry weather continues. Yasmin Gandham, CTV News, Vancouver.
So we're not in stage 3 yet, but they're saying it's could be, well, in June, which is just next week already. So
And I remember that in 2015 too. I mean, you always look suspicious if your neighbor's lawn was a little greener.
Oh,
for sure. Because you're wondering if they're
they're
following the restrictions. Yeah, and then walking, are they washing the car?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we have to sort of make these choices now because we are getting into drought season. So, I mean, washing your car. I mean, if we go into stage 3, you're not allowed to do that. Watering your lawn, like you can spray your garden, especially if you're growing food. I think that's allowed. But then it's at home. They can't really police, how long your shower is or how often you run your laundry or dishwasher. Right. We have to kind of make these choices on our own.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be inconvenient in some spots, but when you consider what could happen and some of the results of that,
Okay, well, we've been watching that. Well, can you spell excitement? The National Spelling Bee came down to a spell-off.
So your first word is Taroni.
T-O-R-O-N-E.
Enthymeme.
E-N-T-H-Y-M-E-M-E.
Iguape.
I-G-U-A-P.
Denebola.
D-N-E-B-O-L-A.
Fay-do-do.
Oh my gosh. We'll tell you who has been crowned champion as it came down to a rapid-fire tiebreaker. We'll have that ahead. Plus,
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
the Prime Minister wraps up a trip to New York. How did that statement go over? What one U.S. ambassador is saying, and
just how much will hosting the FIFA World Cup here in Vancouver cost? Well, we'll get those numbers later this morning. Coming up on Your Morning Vancouver.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. With the FIFA World Cup now just weeks away, the BC government is preparing to reveal a new look at the cost of hosting the games in Vancouver. Updated figures on spending, revenue, and the tournament's economic impact are expected this morning. CTV's Craig Krause joins us now with more. Good morning, Craig. There has been growing scrutiny over whether the costs are still climbing.
For sure have been, and good morning, Carrie. So that's one of the big questions we're hoping to get answers to later on this morning. The province is expected to give an update on these costs. Last June, they estimated that costs could rise as high as $624 million. Whether that's the case, though, remains unclear. But this morning, we are expected to hear from Ministers Ravi Kahlon and Kang, and they are expected to give detail not only the price tag, but also the economic benefits the province believes the tournament will bring. Vancouver is set to host 7 World Cup matches, with the province expecting hundreds of thousands of visitors during the tournament. Officials say Vancouver could see about 350,000 visitors during the tournament, with another 1 million people expected to visit BC over the next 5 years. A report from from Canada's budget officer, estimates total spending between Vancouver and Toronto could exceed $1 billion. And again, we are expected to hear from the ministers later on this morning. Whether that number, though, exceeds $624 million, we'll wait and see if it does. Carrie?
Okay, Craig Krause joining us live this morning. Thanks, Craig. It is 6:31. Meanwhile, we'll learn who will play on Canada's Men's World Cup team when the official roster is announced this evening. Head coach Jesse Marsh invited 32 players to a training camp in North Carolina this week. He plans to narrow that group down to 26 tonight. Team Canada captain and former Whitecap Alphonso Davies is expected to make the final cut despite missing camp as he recovers from a hamstring injury. The announcement is expected at 4 p.m. on TSN, CTV, and Crave. Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up a trip to New York with a twist on a familiar slogan.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
That was the line that stole the show as Carney spoke to business leaders at the Economic Club of New York. It's one that U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra later said was, quote, worth repeating. Carney went on to say that his government has made practical proposals to the U.S. administration to move past the current era of tension. Carney is back in Ottawa this morning. We have breaking news. Canada is slipping into a technical recession as the economy appears to be stalling. That's according to a report from Statistics Canada. It says Canada's economic growth stalled in the first quarter and real gross domestic product was slightly negative on an annualized basis. Canada's real GDP has now declined for 2 consecutive quarters, which means the definition of a technical recession. Now, with all that being said, the report is estimating a sharp rebound of 0.04% growth for April. Well, turning to a new and potentially dangerous development in the war in Ukraine, a Russian drone that was part of an overnight attack on Ukraine crossed the border into Romania and struck an apartment building. Romanian officials say 2 people were injured in the city of Galati on the Danube River near the Romanian border with Ukraine and Moldova. Romania, which is a member of NATO, has called the drone's flight a serious violation of international law. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte posting that the military alliance will defend every inch of Allied territory. Romania has reported several instances of drone fragments landing on its territory since the war started in 2022, but this is the first time that people have been injured. Well, to the Middle East now, where American and Iranian negotiators have reportedly reached a tentative agreement to extend a ceasefire by 60 days. 2 officials say U.S. President Donald Trump is reviewing the potential agreement, but has not yet signed off on it.
We've already decimated their conventional military, and we're in a position where we could substantially step back their nuclear program, not just during the term of this president, but over the long term. That's a very, very good thing for the American people.
Sources say the potential deal would see shipping through the Strait of Hormuz be unrestricted with no tolls, while Iran would remove mines within 30 days. The U.S. would also lift its naval blockade if commercial traffic resumes. The current ceasefire remains fragile. The U.S. military struck Iranian targets twice this week in what it called defensive strikes. Well, to Florida now, and video of a traffic stop that's going viral. A police officer accused a woman of holding a phone with her right hand while driving, but the woman said that wasn't possible and showed him why. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more.
This is the moment back in February a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy pulls over Kathleen Thomas as part of a crackdown on distracted driving.
When you drove past me holding the phone with your right hand, manipulating that phone, I saw you with the phone in your hand.
The deputy's body-worn camera shows Thomas raising her arm to prove to the deputy she doesn't have a right hand.
So you want to just call this a day?
The deputy persists.
You had a hand up manipulating
You just said my right hand.
Well, I thought I saw you with your right hand. You
so
had a hand up. The right hand. I saw you manipulate.
So you didn't.
With the right hand, perhaps not, right?
The deputy is unmoved.
So are you
saying that you saw me with
I know
my
what
right
I just said. I know what I just said. I'm asking you now. Did you or not have your phone on your hand?
I did not.
You did not have your phone in your hand?
I did not.
Hand to God, you did not have your phone in your hand.
Hand to God.
The other hand to God, you don't have your phone in your hand.
Hand to God.
Cool.
Despite her denials, Thomas was given a $116 ticket for using her phone while driving. She turned to social media to talk about why she contested it.
A few weeks ago, I got pulled over for driving with a device in my right hand that clearly doesn't exist, and we went to court.
The post racking up millions of views on Instagram and TikTok. This week, the ticket was thrown out. The deputy requested dismissal due to lack of evidence. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office says in this particular case, the deputy initiated a traffic stop based upon his visual observation at the time of the incident. After additional review of the Florida state statutes involved and based upon the totality of the circumstances, the decision was ultimately made to dismiss.
You guys, I cannot make up the reason behind why it was dismissed. It says lack of evidence. Bruh, we knew that already.
Well, thrill seekers at an amusement park in Texas got more than they bargained for. They were on the Iron Shark roller coaster in Galveston when it stopped just before the top of the 30-meter vertical lift. Firefighters were called in to rescue the 8 people. The park says the ride experienced a malfunction during its initial ascent and stopped immediately, as it was designed to do to keep everyone safe. Wow. Well, after an intense spell-off, a winner has been declared at the 2026 Scripps National Spelling Bee.
So your first word is Taroni.
T-O-R-O-N-E.
Enthymeme.
E-N-T-H-Y-M-E-M-E.
Iguape.
I-G-U-A-P.
Denebola.
D-N-E-B-O-L-A.
Faidodo.
F-A-I-S-D-O-D-O.
Whoa, 14-year-old Shrey Parekh is the champion after 18 regular rounds plus this breathless spell-off as a tiebreaker. He correctly spelled 32 extremely difficult words in 90 seconds and will take home more than $50,000 in prizes. So he was doing the spell-off, like those rapid-fire, like spelling words, like words I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
And then there was another kid who was doing the same thing, and I guess, whoever could spell all the words the fastest.
I know, that's amazing. And I'm with you. I haven't even seen or heard some of those words. They look like some of the texts that I sent. I go, oops.
So you're like, oops.
Right. Yeah, when you're doing diction, right? Oh, that didn't work out, right?
Oh, man. It was unbelievable. And, I can't imagine the amount of studying and practice it would take to be able to do that.
I get
and they're kids.
I know. Somebody says to me, spell Tawasin. I'll go, oh, God, I'll forget it. I got to sit down and figure that one out. All right, let's get a look at our weather on this Friday morning. It is starting off cloudy and 13 degrees, mostly cloudy right now. Southeast wind at 9 kilometers an hour. And there is some showers coming in, some rain, but it will move off fairly quickly. So just through the morning into the afternoon, there may be a couple of rogue ones still around, but the cloud cover will clear away for a mainly sunny afternoon. And then tomorrow, we'll start off with some cloud and again showers, possibly isolated showers, and then clearing out into the afternoon. So looks like we'll enjoy some sunshine, some warmer temperatures too. And it will warm up today up to about 19. It'll clear after the showers this morning, and it'll be partly cloudy this evening. And like I said, the weekend looks like a nice mix of sun and cloud with, again, and maybe a small chance of a couple more showers on Saturday morning. We'll have more of the 5-day forecast. Got that coming up later. And CTV Weather brought to you by Chambers Plan, Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits. More than just health and dental. Learn more at chamberplan.ca. Carrie.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Okay. So we are just days away from a new leader being chosen by the BC Conservative Party. There have been 5 candidates looking to lead the opposition party and become premier of the province. More on the race and the 11th hour controversy. That's coming up in our next half hour. But first.
This one was more of like more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
It's being called one of the largest explosions in space flight history, what the loss of a Blue Origin rocket means for the space race. We're back in a moment with more of Your Morning, Vancouver.
Don't miss the FIFA Fan Festival, June 11th to July 19th. The historic B&E grounds is transforming into the ultimate destination for devoted football fans, families, and fun seekers alike. You could win a 4-pack of tickets to each day of the FIFA Fan Festival. Immerse yourself in live match broadcasts, global music, delicious food, and more. For your chance to win, enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code. Good luck.
We find out today the impact of tariffs and the start of the Iran war on the economy in the first quarter of the year. The StatsCan agency's initial estimates suggest the economy rebounded somewhat after a mild contraction in the final quarter of 2025, but the economy stalled after growing modestly in January and February. That's according to its flash estimate. Oil prices trading lower on Friday in a choppy session on tentative signs that the United States and Iran were nearing a preliminary agreement to end the war. Treasuries narrowly mixed, keeping yields within a basis point of Thursday's closing levels. Dell Technologies shares are surging after the hardware maker gave an outlook for annual sales that far surpassed analysts' estimates, fueled by demand for servers that power artificial intelligence work. Revenue in the fiscal year ending in January 27 will be about $167 billion, including $60 billion from AI, well above analyst estimates of $142. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
The BNN Bloomberg Report is brought to you by IG Private Wealth Management. Does your financial advisor put you at the center?
Well, there was a massive explosion last night in Cape Canaveral. It's being called one of the largest explosions in spaceflight history, and it could pose a major setback for NASA's upcoming missions to the moon. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
It was like something out of a disaster movie. A massive fireball erupting, lighting up the night sky over Cape Canaveral, Florida. A Blue Origin rocket exploding on the launch pad. Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos says all personnel are safe. No one was on board. The company says the rocket experienced an anomaly during an engine test for the massive 320-foot-tall New Glenn rocket, sending a massive shockwave rippling through the air. Before the explosion, 2 towers could be seen, one on either side of the rocket, to protect it from lightning. But now, only 1 tower remains. Residents in the area who've grown accustomed to space launches and failures say this one felt different.
This one was more of more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
Jeff Bezos saying it's too early to know the root cause, but we're already working to find it. Very rough day, but we'll rebuild whatever needs rebuilding and get back to flying. It's worth it. The explosion comes just days after NASA announced a nearly $500 million contract with Blue Origin to carry out various missions to the moon, including the deliveries of a lunar lander and lunar rovers using a New Glenn rocket.
Blue Origin had emerged as really a key player in NASA's efforts to return to the moon and really compete with China in that regard. And so this is pretty devastating to that effect, and it just increases the pressure on SpaceX to perform with its Starship vehicle. A lot of NASA's eggs are now in just a single basket.
Experts now predict delays, citing the loss of the rocket, but also the loss of the launch pad, which is the only one equipped to launch the New Glenn.
It takes more than a year to build these. These are probably multi-$100 million to billion-dollar facilities.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, robots are hitting the runway for a first-of-its-kind fashion show. That's quite the catwalk. This fashion show in South Korea puts together people and robots in matching customized designer outfits. Whether robots need clothes is still up for debate, but the show is meant to show a future where humans and robots can coexist. Well, it is a big birthday coming up for the U.S., but some of the celebration plans are not going so well. Jimmy Kimmel is running down some issues with a big concert planned in Washington. Mark has that coming up in your late laugh. But first.
Love forever, love is free, let's turn forever, you and me.
On this day in 2005, Gorillaz scored their first #1 album when Demon Days topped the charts. Your milestones are coming up next.
Don't stop, get it, deep high, you captains in it, steady, watch me navigate. Don't stop, get it, deep high, you captains in it, steady.
It's time for your milestones, and it's a big list today. First up this morning, happy 10th birthday to Aman. Love from Mom, Dad, and Jovan.
And a happy 13th birthday to Chloe. Love from Mom, Dad, Ian, Sean, and Oma.
Happy birthday to Mike. Love from Anita and Zozie.
And a happy 14th birthday to Nora. We love you lots and hope you have the best day. Love from Mom, Dad, and Spencer.
Happy 80th birthday to Doug. Love from Brenda, Maureen, Chad, and the Fur Babies.
All right. Go Blue Jays, Doug. Happy 9th birthday to Dax. Have a super day. Love from Mimi and Grandpa.
Happy 100th birthday to Polly Eberly. Wow. We love you. Love from your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. What a milestone.
Yeah, no kidding. There'll be great-great-great-grandchildren, too. Happy 12th birthday to Sophie. We hope you have a fantastic day. Love from Mom, Dad, Emma, and Finley.
Happy 4th birthday to Cooper. Oh, we're so proud of you. Love from Tessa, Mom, and Dad.
Hit it out of the park, Cooper. Happy 51st anniversary to Corky and Shirley. Done award with love from your friends and family.
Beautiful wedding photo. Happy 65th birthday to Perry Hansen. Love from your kids, your grandchildren, and your great-granddaughter.
Happy birthday to Leanne and Lucas. Love from Jello.
Happy 90th birthday to Vicky Ballon. Love Brenda, Linda, Donna, and the families.
There you go. We told you it was long.
Yeah, and so many milestones on our milestones list. Send us your milestone to bcmilestones@ctv.ca.
All right, here is a look from the Okanagan. Yeah. At some cloud right now, too, and there's still a risk of some thunderstorms in the area. But for us here, no risk of thunderstorms, but it is going to get a little bit wet this morning. It is mostly cloudy right now. Wind is very light, 9 kilometers an hour, and it's 13 degrees. It'll get up to about 19 later on today. And look at this. Our average is 19. Last year we hit 19, so there you go, trifecta. And then our record on this date in 1983 was 30 degrees, and sunset tonight just after 9 o'clock. Yes, we will see the rain move through this morning, but it does move off fairly quickly. And into the afternoon, it'll start to clear up for a mostly sunny afternoon. And then tomorrow, we'll start off cloudy again and maybe a couple of showers around in the morning. And then by the afternoon, it'll start to clear away again. So looks like some good weather's coming up for the weekend. Port Hardy will be 14 today, and you're looking for showers this morning, some clearing in the afternoon. Also down the east side, 18 in Campbell River and Comox, 19 in Nanaimo. Port Alberni will be 19. Out at Tofino, Ucluelet, sun and cloud today, and 15. And Victoria seeing some showers this morning, and then some clearing with highs of 17. Same conditions for the Sunshine Coast. Powell River and Sechelt hitting 17 today. Up the Sea to Sky region, same thing. Squamish will be 19, Whistler 17. And here for the lower mainland, we'll see the showers and rain this morning. Turning sunny into the afternoon, and temperatures will top out at about 19 degrees. So here's our 5-day. So tomorrow, a little sunnier with a nice mix of sun and cloud and 17. Same thing for Sunday. Even those inland temperatures climbing up to 21. And not bad for Monday and Tuesday, and getting a little bit milder too, up to 22 by Tuesday. Well, there are big events being planned for the U.S. on the 4th of July for America's 250th birthday. But according to Jimmy Kimmel last night, one of them has already hit several snags. Here's your light live.
This is a big concert in Washington on July 4th to celebrate our 250 years, and what a lineup they have. This is like Coachella for bands that hired their cousin as their tour manager. The listed performers include pop duo Milli Vanilli, one of whom is dead, pop duo CNC Music Factory, another of whom is dead, Morris Day and the Time, minus lead singer Morris Day, and minus the Time. They refused to be part of the event. Young MC, minus Young MC, who also refused to be part of the event. And the Commodores, minus the original singers from the Commodores, and minus the new singers from the Commodores, who backed out today, too. But don't worry, Bret Michaels, Flo Rida, Vanilla Ice, and the guy from the Cracker Barrel logo, Tootin' on the Jug, so far. We'll check back on that tomorrow to see if they're still in. What a mess. Milli Vanilli, or whatever's left of Milli Vanilli, put out a statement saying they were never asked to perform and would not be taking part in the concert. The statement said others using the name Milli Vanilli that appear on the advertisement should be considered a tribute band with no association vocally, musically to our sounds and songs. But how can someone pretend to be Milli Vanilli when Milli Vanilli was pretending to be Milli Vanilli?
He has a point, right?
That is so true.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But I don't really know a lot about the celebrations being planned for the U.S. 250th birthday. I mean, I'm sure they have a lot going down on there, down there.
True.
But yeah.
And they got a big UFC fight on the White House lawn.
Oh, right. Yes, they're building a big structure there for it.
I don't know. But it was funny when he brought up the sort of tribute bands. You know, people now who go and see, come and see the, Commodores, just come and see that.
Right.
And you look and there's maybe one or two of the original members in there, if that,
They should say, come and see what a member of
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, the need for speed has hit Vatican City. Look at this, Pope Leo getting a chance to test drive Ferrari's new ride. He's getting in there into the seat. We'll tell you what he walked away with and what he didn't. That is still to come. Plus,
Honestly, $60 to just see it on the big screen, that's not something I'd consider.
Sluggish sales for the Peony Fan Fest. Will there be rows of empty seats when the World Cup kicks off? And an update is expected today on the Broadway subway project. We'll have more of the growing concerns for businesses in the area ahead of its launch next fall. We're back in a moment. We are set to learn more about the next phase of the contentious Broadway subway project as ongoing construction continues to be a source of frustration for businesses. Also, World Cup excitement is building, but how much money are BC taxpayers on the hook for? We'll get an update on World Cup costs this morning.
There hasn't been any sign of remorse or apologies.
The emotional moments inside an Abbotsford courtroom during the sentencing hearing of 3 men accused in a horrific killing. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Friday, May 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. The province is expected to give an update on the Broadway subway project this morning. BC Transportation Minister Mike Farnworth will be joined by Federal Minister of Housing Gregor Robertson and representatives from the City of Vancouver and TransLink for the announcement. The project, which has been in the works for more than 5 years, is a 5.7-kilometer extension of the existing Millennium Line SkyTrain service, stretching along the Broadway corridor to UBC. Some businesses in the area say the ongoing construction has led to a significant decline in customers. The new line is scheduled to open next fall. Well, the price tag for FIFA in Vancouver is back in the spotlight today. The BC government is set to release updated numbers this morning on what hosting World Cup games could cost and what the province expects to get back in return. Our Craig Krause joins us live in Vancouver with more on this morning. Good morning, Craig. So questions have been swirling for months now about how much taxpayers will ultimately spend. What do we know?
Well, that's right, and good morning, Carrie. So a year ago, the province estimated that the cost would be anywhere between $532 million and $624 million. Whether that's still the case, though, remains unclear. But Ministers Ravi Kahlon and Ann Kang are expected to make an announcement this morning and roll out the updated numbers, along with details on the economic impact the tournament could have on the region. Vancouver is set to host 7 matches during the tournament, and the province is expecting about 350,000 fans to flood Vancouver for the games, and another million to visit BC over the next 5 years. BC Place also receives significant upgrades as part of the overall cost, including new elevators, a scoreboard, locker rooms, and a temporary grass field. And Canada's budget officer did come out with some findings in the previous few months leading up to the tournament here in June. And they said between Vancouver and Toronto, the cost would be around $1 billion. But again, we are waiting on those official numbers this morning. Carrie?
Okay, we'll be waiting. Craig Krause joining us live this morning. Thanks, Craig. Well, the Peony Fan Festival is supposed to be a way to be a part of the FIFA action without the World Cup ticket prices, but it appears many are staying on the sidelines, at least for now. CTV's Martin McMahon has more.
Hastings Park will be the site of BC's largest fan destination during the tournament, but a quick look at the Ticket Leader website where the premium seats are being sold shows many tickets still available. Depending on the day and the match, you could pay as little as $44 or more than $100 for reserved seating at the new amphitheater. But for the head of the Vancouver Host Committee, there's little concern about sales.
People are starting to make their summer plans. I think kids are still in school, and a number of us, we make our plans as we get closer and closer to the end of the school year. We don't have that concern. And then insofar as the knockouts go, at this stage, we don't know who's going to be in those knockout matches. So people are still also waiting to see what's going to happen as the tournament itself unfolds.
That confidence is shared by the tourism minister as well, despite the slow start to sales outside of the final and matches involving Canada.
I can't really comment too much on Vancouver's budget, but I know that the tickets will sell well. According to the patterns of previous World Cups that were hosted in different cities.
We asked people if they think it's worth it to watch a game at the fan festival.
I think as the tournament gets through towards the final stages, I would definitely consider going. Good to be part of the hype and the vibe, and not everyone can get into the stadium as well for those key games for sure.
Honestly, $60 to just see it on the big screen, that's not something I'd consider.
I mean, if you can't be inside the game,
the next best thing would be to be down there and have some fun.
The city would not directly answer what the financial consequences would be if many of these Fan Fest tickets go unsold, but is promising to provide more information at its update on tournament costs tomorrow. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, there are only hours left for members of the BC Conservatives to vote for who they want to be the next leader of the party. Electronic voting cuts off at 8 this morning ahead of the official announcement of the new leader tomorrow. Party members are voting in a preferential ballot where they're asked to rank their choices from first to fifth. The 5 candidates looking to replace former leader John Rustad are former BC Cabinet Minister Ian Black, commentator Caroline Elliott, former MP Carrie Lynn Finley, current MLA Peter Millibar, and entrepreneur Yuri Fulmer. Well, now to a major development in the legal battle between private property rights and Aboriginal title. Canada's highest court has declined to hear a case from New Brunswick that could have big implications for the controversial Cowichan case here in BC. In the Cowichan tribe's case, a BC Supreme Court judge found that Aboriginal title was senior to fee simple private property. The decision sparked worry amongst private property owners. Yesterday, the highest court in the land declined to hear the appeal of a case in New Brunswick, in which the Court of Appeal there favored private property rights over Aboriginal title.
It's important for people to know that essentially our arguments are what the court found in New Brunswick. The arguments that the province made here about private property being protected. So we think it's very interesting that the Supreme Court of Canada decided not to hear that case, so therefore leave that law in place.
The fact that the Supreme Court of Canada has denied leave is hugely helpful, because the New Brunswick Court of Appeal has decided the issues somewhat differently, quite differently than the trial judge in the Cowichan case.
The Supreme Court of Canada never gives its reasons for agreeing to hear a case or declining to do so, but legal experts say this decision does bode well for the likelihood of BC having its appeal heard by the court. Well, there were gut-wrenching victim impact statements at the sentencing for 3 men convicted of murdering 2 Abbotsford seniors nearly 4 years ago. Family and friends of Arnold and Joanne de Jong fought through tears to share what the pair meant to them and how the actions of their killers has altered their lives. Abhijit Singh, Kushveer Toor and Gurkaran Singh, who were each convicted by a judge of 2 counts of first-degree murder earlier this month, sat slouched over looking at the ground as 21 victim impact statements were read out.
They've heard what we've had to say, and it's up to them to be remorseful if they so desire. There hasn't been any sign of remorse or apologies up to this point.
A first-degree murder conviction comes with an automatic life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. The sentencing will officially conclude at a later date. Well, to the Okanagan now. Penticton has issued a local state of emergency after a massive fire at a long-term care home under construction. It's being called devastating to seniors in the region. The fire was reported around 10 on Wednesday night and quickly escalated into a 3-alarm blaze with 60 firefighters on site. An updated evacuation order was issued Thursday afternoon for 10 nearby properties due to an unstable crane at the site. No injuries have been reported. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Ma says the province is committed to ensuring that the Skaha seniors community gets built. The 200-bed project was expected to be finished in 2028. Well, Pope Leo may be in the market for a new Pope-mobile. Sort of. The Pope had a chance to get behind the wheel of Ferrari's new electric vehicle called the Luce. Ferrari didn't give him the car, but they did present him with the steering wheel. The Pope has a reputation as a bit of a gearhead. He used to do his own repairs while serving as a missionary in Peru. Wow, what a really interesting fun fact there about Pope Leo. Didn't know that.
Yeah, why didn't they give him the whole car?
Well, I mean, where is he going to drive the Ferrari?
Oh, come on.
Where is he going to go?
You know, wouldn't he look so cool pulling up in front of that in the Sistine Chapel?
Absolutely.
Doing donuts in the Vatican Square, you know? I think they
Don't
like
encourage him, but that would be fun.
One day.
He'd love that.
Yeah, or he sneaks it out in the middle of the night, right? And they pull him over in the midnight. Oh, Your Holiness, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Just going to get a milkshake. All right, let's take a look at our weather, which is starting off a little bit wet. We're already seeing some light rain around much of the lower mainland, and we're seeing that at YVR right now. Temperature is about 13 degrees, 6 kilometers an hour, very light wind, and we'll see that rain sort of, disappear by the afternoon. Probably by about lunchtime it's gone, and there may be some isolated showers around after that, but you can see that cloud cover breaking up quite nicely for a mainly sunny afternoon. Then tomorrow we'll start off cloudy. We may get a couple of showers in the morning and then clearing up again. So we're getting into a pretty nice pattern. So your day ahead, we'll see those showers continue through the morning, but gone by lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, we'll start to clear out, and it'll be partly cloudy this evening, and our daily high today will be 19 degrees. So we've got more of the 5-day forecast. Also coming up, a rather ominous-looking scenic snapshot.
Ominous? Oh,
ominous,
my
but it's interesting. Let's put it that way.
Ominously interesting.
There you go. I like that description better.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, well, these days, if you're looking for love, you got to think outside the box.
Everybody, just like me, is frustrated with the online dating.
Well, from frustration to innovation, how an Edmonton man is setting himself apart in hopes of finding his future wife. That's just ahead. But first, the BC Conservative leadership race enters its final days. Coming up, the scrutiny facing one of the front runners and how much it could sway the vote. That conversation coming up right after the break. The BC Conservative Party's leadership race is in its final days, and a candidate will be chosen this weekend. The winner will take on Premier David Eby, whose NDP government secured a narrow victory last election, is now facing a tight political race. But the Conservative leadership contest is being overshadowed by scrutiny facing one of the frontrunners in the race. Political scientist Hamish Telford is here to break down what's at stake. Good morning, Hamish. Good to see you.
Good morning, Carrie.
So we're going to talk about the scrutiny in a moment, but first, this race started with the ousting of John Rustad, and it follows a very narrow NDP win last election. How would you describe the state of the BC Conservative Party heading into this leadership decision?
Well, earlier in the year, it was very chaotic with the ousting of John Rustad, as you said. Then a whole flood of people joined the race. I forget how many we had in total, 11 or 12, but it's been whittled down to 5. But even now, at the end of the race, I think it's virtually impossible to predict who's going to come out on top here. Obviously, it will depend on how effective the campaigns were and signing up new members across the province. But I think this is one of those leadership races where it's going to depend on multiple rounds of balloting and the order on those ballots. It's depending on who comes down lower and gets dropped out will make a difference on who ultimately prevails. So at this point, I think it's still totally unpredictable.
Yeah, there was a very recent development. It's the investigation to Carrie Lynn Finley's expenses tied to her previous federal campaign, which she denies. So how much weight do you think that this controversy could have?
Obviously, this is not at all helpful for her. This is the last thing she wanted in the final days of the campaign. How much it's exactly going to hurt her, I can't say. I didn't think she was one of the front runners, and this may seal her fate.
We have seen other conflicts in this race as well. There's been debates over strategy, alliances, where the party stands ideologically, how conservative the candidates are. What does that tell us about the Conservatives' ability to unify after this vote?
Yes, it's going to be huge. I think that we have two candidates who are sort of moderates to the center, Ian Black and Peter Millibar. Then we have two who have played more to the right, Carrie Lynn Finley and Yuri Fulmer. And then Carolyn Elliott, perhaps sort of the candidate in the middle here. And this is a process of trying to define the party. And I think the outcome is going to depend on who the membership is and who of those members decide to vote. If the party has signed up more people to the far right, that helps those candidates who have staked out that strategy. Or if the party is more moderate in its makeup, then the other candidates will benefit. Or perhaps Caroline Finley has placed herself neatly in the middle there and will be the beneficiary of votes later down on the ballots. But whoever wins this race will have exactly the same task as John Rustad, and that is to unite an unruly group of people with a very wide ideological spectrum. And I'm not entirely sure that there's a formula to bring everyone together.
Yeah, this is a preferential ballot with thousands of new members voting. How could that shape the outcome, especially if there's not a clear front runner?
Yes, and as I was saying earlier, I think it's really going to depend down ballot where people are ordered. Obviously, you don't want to end up last on a ballot because you get dropped out, but depending on who ends up last on the ballot, if it's one of, say, of the more right-wing candidates, then where do their votes go? And is that able to push one of the other more right-wing candidates over the top? Or conversely, if one of the moderates ends up at the bottom, does that distribute the second round votes to the moderate candidate and help him or her get over the top?
Quickly, Hamish, before we let you go here, whoever wins this party inherits a party that is growing but still divided. What do they need to do to turn that into a credible challenge in the next election?
As I say, they've got to find a formula that unites the party. Now, they may not be able to bring everyone on board, so they might have to make some tough choices, as John Rustad did early on, evicting some people from the caucus. But they've got to find that formula and a narrative that holds on to most of their base while appealing to the broader voter.
We'll see what happens. A new leader chosen this weekend. Hamish Telford joining us this morning. Thanks, Hamish. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Well, summer is on the horizon. That means it's time to pay extra attention to your skin. May is Melanoma Awareness Month. Doctors say early detection can make all the difference. Do you know what to look for? Coming up, the most common mistake that puts you at risk. Plus,
everybody just like me is frustrated with the online dating.
So why not go old school advertising? When we come back, an Edmonton man's billboard campaign looking for a life partner.
Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning. You know, we could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is SAVE. Head to the contest page at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter SAVE with your info for your chance to win Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest. Good luck. 7:22 on this Friday morning, which is starting off a little bit wet and drizzly. We do have this band of showers moving through at the moment. We'll get up to about 19 today, and that's bang on for our average of this time of year. And we hit the same temperature last year on the state. On the state in 1983 was set a record for the day, 30 degrees, and sunset tonight just after 9 o'clock. So we'll see the showers move off fairly quickly. They'll be gone by just after lunchtime, and then into the afternoon, we'll start to see a nice mix of sun and cloud coming our way, and even mainly sunny before sundown tonight. Cloud building back in tomorrow morning. There could be a couple of more showers around, especially out towards Langley and Abbotsford and out toward the valley. But other than that, clearing out for a mainly sunny afternoon, and it's looking pretty good for the rest of the weekend. Port Hardy will be 14 today, and you're looking at showers and sunny breaks later right across the island. Campbell River, Comox will be 18. Nanaimo will be 19. 19 into Port Alberni. Out at Tofino, Ucluelet today, there'll be a mix of sun and cloud and highs of 15. And showers this morning, and then some clearing into Victoria with highs of 17. Same thing for the Sunshine Coast, 17 as well in Powell River and Sechelt. Also up the Sea to Sky region, 19 in Squamish, 17 in Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, we'll see the showers move off in the afternoon, clearing up somewhat. Temperatures will top out at about 19 degrees. Here's our 5-day. Tomorrow's looking a little better, a nice mix of sun and cloud. And also Sunday, even warmer too, 18 to 21 degrees inland, and not bad for Tuesday and Wednesday, or Monday and Tuesday, pardon me, because Wednesday will be pretty good too, with highs of about 22 on Wednesday. Here is our scenic snapshot this morning. This is from Greg Riley. Took this just during a thunderstorm out in the Soyuz. Very dramatic picture. That's the word I should have used before, Carrie, instead of ominous. But it's looking pretty good. So thank you, Greg. And if you got a scenic snapshot to send it to us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Yeah, that is actually an incredible shot.
It is, yeah.
We'll love it. even though it's ominous. Thanks for that. Okay, it is 7:24. Forget dating apps. An Alberta man looking for love is turning his attention to a different kind of screen, digital billboards. As CTV's Nariman Issa reports on his creative attempt to find companionship.
This billboard on a busy West Edmonton intersection features ads of all kinds.
There's my sign.
Including one looking for love.
Marriage is very important to me, and I'm looking for a life partner, a wife.
Spencer Griffin Beale is taking an unconventional approach to finding love. He's advertising his desire to get married through a billboard campaign.
I had to think outside the box and think of a way that I can stick out more than all the online profiles and everything.
MarySpencer.ca is splashed on the ads. There you can learn more about the 40-year-old and send a submission if you're interested. He says conventional dating methods just aren't panning out.
My impression that I got from the dating event I was at last night was that everybody just like me is frustrated with the online dating.
It makes the companies a lot more money if we're kept swiping longer.
This University of Alberta professor says the dating landscape has changed. Technology has made it easier to meet people, but maybe not the right people.
Lots of concerns about bad actors or maybe dishonest users, and enhanced digital tools to facilitate people not putting their real selves forward.
A local matchmaker is applauding Griffin Beale's billboards.
Everyone wants love. I think there's a human nature in us that we want companionship. And so if you're not finding that, I think that it's really amazing that you're going out there and you're doing those things.
Megan Tishuk says she's seeing others getting creative.
A lot of people will use business cards. They'll have their name, number on it, Instagram, whatever it is. It'll say, if you're single, let me know. Or I see friends will put on like a QR code or something, and they'll be like, this is my single friend.
For Griffin Beale, he's hoping this billboard campaign works.
If they're interested, just don't be afraid to reach out. My pictures on the site may look mean, but I'm not mean.
And that his future wife is just a click away. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
I like that he's taken a chance there.
Yeah. I look grumpy, but I'm not,
A lot of people used to put their names in classified ads. Remember classified ads?
Yeah.
They're looking for,
Like
if you like pina coladas, yes.
Really?
Yes, in like the newspaper, it'd be the classified section. But
that's sweet.
I like the idea that people are finding different ways to meet each other.
I know. I mean, I hope someone goes to the link. I like that he put so much effort in, and I think that would maybe draw in the right people too, to see that he put up an entire document. He's serious. He wants someone to marry Spencer.
Right.
That's yay.
I think it also is, though, intimidating talking about the people who would have their card with their dating information or a business card or whatever, to go up to someone and say, hey, here's my card. Let me know if you're single. Or
people need to take more risks.
Guts. Takes guts.
High risk, high reward.
The fear of rejection is strong, my friend.
Just do it.
Just do it. Okay, well, good luck to him. Okay, here's something you might not want to see as we head into amusement park season. Thrill seekers stuck mid-ride at a park in Texas. We'll tell you how long they were left dangling there before rescue crews could get them all down. That's just ahead. Plus.
This one was more of like more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
A Blue Origin rocket explodes, shaking homes in Florida and turning the sky orange. What this means for NASA's moon mission.
Just how much will hosting the FIFA World Cup here in Vancouver cost? Well, we'll get those numbers later this morning. Coming up on Your Morning Vancouver.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. With the FIFA World Cup now just weeks away, the BC government is preparing to reveal a new look at the cost of hosting the games in Vancouver. Updated figures on spending, revenue, and the tournament's economic impact are expected this morning. Craig Krause joins us live. Good morning, Craig. There's been growing scrutiny over whether the costs are still climbing.
There sure is. Good morning, Carrie. So that's one of the questions we're hoping to get answered by the province this morning. They are expected to give an update on some of the details around the price tag of the tournament. It was last June that they released an estimate, and that was around $624 million. So this morning we are going to be hearing from Ministers Ann Kang and Ravi Kahlon, and they're expected to detail not only the price tag, but also the economic benefits the province believes the tournament will bring. Vancouver is set to host 7 World Cup matches, with the province expecting hundreds of thousands of visitors during the tournament. Officials say Vancouver could see about 350,000 visitors during that tournament, with another 1 million people expected to visit BC over the next 5 years. A report from Canada's budget officer estimates total spending between Vancouver and Toronto could exceed $1 billion. And here we are expected to get that update on that price tag in the coming hours. But again, whether that's below $624 million or above it remains unclear. Carrie?
Okay, we'll be watching to find out. Craig Krause joining us live this morning. Thanks, Craig. Breaking news now. Canada is slipping into a technical recession as the economy appears to be stalling. That's according to a report from Statistics Canada. It says Canada's economic growth stalled in the first quarter, and real gross domestic product was slightly negative on an annualized basis. Canada's real GDP has now declined for 2 consecutive quarters, which meets the definition of a technical recession. Now, with all that being said, the report is estimating a sharp rebound of 0.04% growth for April. Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up a trip to New York with a twist on a familiar slogan.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
That was the line that stole the show as Carney spoke to business leaders at the Economic Club of New York. It's one that U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra later said was, quote, worth repeating. Carney went on to say that his government has made practical proposals to the U.S. administration to move past the current era of tension. Carney is back in Ottawa this morning. Well, turning to a new and potentially dangerous development in the war in Ukraine. A Russian drone that was part of an overnight attack on Ukraine crossed the border into Romania and struck an apartment building. Now, Romanian officials say 2 people were injured in the city of Galați on the Danube River near the Romanian border with Ukraine and Moldova. Romania, which is a member of NATO, has called the drone's flight a serious violation of international law. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte posting that the military alliance will defend every inch of Allied territory. Romania has reported several instances of drone fragments landing on its territory since the war started in 2022, but this is the first time that people have been injured. And to the Middle East now, where American and Iranian negotiators have reportedly reached a tentative agreement to extend a ceasefire by 60 days. 2 officials say U.S. President Donald Trump is reviewing the potential agreement, but has not yet signed off on it.
We've already decimated their conventional military, and we're in a position where we could substantially set back their nuclear program, not just during the term of this president, but over the long term. That's a very, very good thing for the American people.
Sources say the potential deal would see shipping through the Strait of Hormuz be unrestricted with no tolls, while Iran would remove mines within 30 days. The U.S. would also lift its naval blockade if commercial traffic resumes. The current ceasefire remains fragile. The U.S. military struck Iranian targets twice this week in what it called defensive strikes. Well, to Florida now, where a Blue Origin rocket erupted into a fireball during an engine test. It produced a blast that you have to see to believe. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
It was like something out of a disaster movie. A massive fireball erupting, lighting up the night sky over Cape Canaveral, Florida. A Blue Origin rocket exploding on the launch pad. Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos says all personnel are safe. No one was on board. The company says the rocket experienced an anomaly during an engine test for the massive 320-foot-tall New Glenn rocket, sending a massive shockwave rippling through the air. Before the explosion, 2 towers could be seen, one on either side of the rocket, to protect it from lightning. But now, only 1 tower remains. Residents in the area who've grown accustomed to space launches and failures say this one felt different.
This one was more of like more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
Jeff Bezos saying it's too early to know the root cause, but we're already working to find it. Very rough day, but we'll rebuild whatever needs rebuilding and get back to flying. It's worth it. The explosion comes just days after NASA announced a nearly $500 million contract with Blue Origin to carry out various missions to the moon, including the deliveries of a lunar lander and lunar rovers using a New Glenn rocket.
Blue Origin had emerged as really a key player in NASA's efforts to return to the moon and really compete with China in that regard. And so this is pretty devastating to that effect, and it just increases the pressure on SpaceX to perform with its Starship vehicle. A lot of NASA's eggs are now in just a single basket.
Experts now predict delays, citing the loss of the rocket, but also the loss of the launch pad, which is the only one equipped to launch the New Glenn.
It takes more than a year to build these. These are probably multi-$100 million to billion-dollar facilities.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, thrill seekers at an amusement park in Texas got more than they bargained for. They were on the Iron Shark roller coaster in Galveston when it stopped just before the top of the 30-meter vertical lift. Firefighters were called in to rescue the 8 people. The park says the ride experienced a malfunction during its initial ascent, and it stopped immediately, as it was designed to do, to keep everyone safe. Well, we have a remarkable update this morning on a story we first brought to you last year. A young hockey player visiting from Minnesota broke his neck while playing in a hockey tournament in Burnaby. He was told he would never walk again. But today, Jackson Drum will walk across the stage for his high school graduation. CTV Shannon Patterson now on how the determined teen defied the odds.
16 months ago, this seemed unimaginable to everyone, that is, except Jackson Drum.
I always thought it was possible. I always had hope in myself. I always believed that I was going to walk again.
In January of last year, the 17-year-old from Minnesota suffered a catastrophic spinal cord injury while playing at a hockey tournament in Burnaby.
I went headfirst in the boards, and I broke my C1, C2. And so I stopped breathing for about 8 minutes, and then I woke up to being intubated.
At the time, he didn't have any sensation, no movement. They kept testing him and he would come up with nothing. But whenever we talked to him in the hospital room, he'd be like, no, I'm going to move again. I'm going to do stuff again. And I'm like, okay. So we didn't really take that hope away from him.
After spending 3 weeks at Vancouver General Hospital, Jackson was transferred to an Atlanta rehab facility.
At the start, I started moving my toes and then my fingers.
Push up, push with those legs. Come on, go.
This was the moment Jackson knew his determination was paying off.
That felt amazing to get back up on my feet. It took forever for me just to stand up again.
With a harness holding him upright, he began to take steps, but Jackson wanted to walk unassisted.
They're like, okay, we're going to try you walking today. And it was the first time he's like, okay, I'm going to try it. And he actually did it on his first try.
He quickly moved on from a walker to hand crutches. And on Friday, the now 18-year-old will walk across the stage at his high school graduation.
I'm excited for the ceremony. I'm excited for a lot of people just to see me walk, because a lot of people haven't seen me walk in person.
We'll all probably be crying. I think the whole arena will probably be crying.
Jackson's mom says his family and faith helped her son defy the doctor's predictions.
In Vancouver, I asked them what the chances of him having any recovery, and they're like, none. And I was like, well, how about 1 in 100? They thought I was crazy. They said no. So here we are, working on walking.
Eager to get back on the ice, Jackson has recently tried sledge hockey.
I am interested in it, but I want to skate normal again.
If the past year has proven anything, it's that Jackson Drum can never be counted out. Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
A pilot from BC has been doing his part to try to help out with the Ebola outbreak in Africa.
We have permission from the government to be doing flights in and out of the affected area here in Bunia. We are one of only a few operators who can do these flights.
Dominic Villeneuve of Kamloops with the Mission Aviation Fellowship Canada is carrying out critical evacuation flights from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Working alongside public health officials and government authorities in the region, he helped move medical workers to Uganda. This after an American missionary doctor tested positive for Ebola. Well, Nova Scotia is making its mark as a destination for barbecue.
In the poultry division,
Nova Scotia's Cook the Books barbecue team went to the Barbecue Central in Memphis and walked out with a top prize at the World Championships. The team reached a perfect score for their chicken.
Team leader Phil says the competition is intense, but the community is friendly and ready to help each other out. Okay.
Wow.
A Nova Scotia group winning.
Nice.
Down in Memphis at the Barbecue Championships.
Nice. Look out Texas. Look out Kansas City. Look out all those other barbecue hotspots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is barbecue season. I wonder if I bet they can do a good barbecue lobster.
Oh.
Out in Nova Scotia, you'd think they would be able to do that.
Yeah,
No problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds delicious.
Somebody's working on that right now. I bet you those guys who won the competition are working on that right now. And that's what they're going to bring next year, and then it'll be game over. All right, let's get a look at our weather on this Friday morning. We're just starting off with some showers, and we're getting some light rain at the moment. Wind is out of the southeast, 15 kilometers an hour, 14 degrees we're at. And we'll stay cloudy with those showers through the morning. And then gone by the afternoon, very early in the afternoon, maybe a couple lingering around, but we'll see the cloud cover clear away for a mainly sunny afternoon. It'll get a little bit warmer, up to about 19 today. And there could be a couple of them around tomorrow morning, but it will clear up again by the afternoon. So we're looking at not a bad weekend, too, and Sundays are going to be about the same. So we'll see the showers continue through the morning into the afternoon. It'll start clearing, and there's our daytime high of about 19. And then partly cloudy this evening, and it clouds up a little bit more, but we'll get another sunny day coming tomorrow. We'll have more details with the 5-day forecast and your school forecast coming up soon. Carrie.
All right, thanks for that. Well, summertime brings a lot of sun and risks for your skin. What you need to know about skin cancer and melanoma this summer, we have the president of the Canadian Dermatology Association joining us to break down the risk factors after the break. And actor Andrew Fung is getting ready for his next big gig, hosting the Canadian Screen Awards. A bit later, we'll speak with him about what to expect from the show this weekend. Stick around. We're back in a moment.
Don't miss the FIFA Fan Festival, June 11th to July 19th. The historic B&E grounds is transforming into the ultimate destination for devoted football fans, families, and fun seekers alike. You can win a 4-pack of tickets to each day of the FIFA Fan Festival. Immerse yourself in live match broadcasts, global music, delicious food, and more. For your chance to win, enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code right now. Good luck.
Well, the warm weather is here, but with the beautiful sunshine, it does come with an increased risk of skin cancer. May is Melanoma Awareness Month, and doctors say early detection can make all the difference, but what should you be looking for? And what should you be doing to prevent it? For more, let's bring in Dr. Sunil Kela with the BC Cancer Centre. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here today.
Are melanoma cases on the rise in this country?
Yes, skin cancer is definitely on the rise, and skin cancer actually is the most common type of cancer. In fact, 1 in every 5 individuals will get skin cancer during their lifetime. So it is very common.
1 in 5. And how are we here in BC compared to the rest of the country?
Yeah, BC actually does have one of the highest rates actually amongst all the different provinces. So it is very common in BC.
Okay, so the big question I think a lot of people want to know is, what does melanoma look like? Tell us about that.
Yeah, melanoma. So the good thing is melanoma can be identified by simple rules. We call them the A, B, C, D, E features.
Okay.
So if you have a mole that looks a little bit different than the rest, look at it closely. If it's asymmetric, so A for asymmetry, B for the borders being like irregular, C for color variation, so there's different colors in the mole, and D for diameter if it's larger than the rest of your moles.
Really, this is a really interesting graphic here. It kind of lays it right out there. That's really specific. UV rays can put you at risk. Are there other factors that could put you at risk as well?
Yeah, that's the thing with skin cancer. Though it is the most common type of cancer, it is highly preventable. So 90% of skin cancers are caused by too much UV rays. UV rays, we mean exposure to sun rays, right? So too much sun rays or tanning beds. So the good thing is that though it's very common, it can be prevented. So if you prevent those harmful exposure to sun rays, most skin cancers can be prevented.
And tanning beds, you said. So people are using tanning beds and that can put them at risk.
Yeah, though the tanning beds have been illegal to use under the age of 18, but we have seen a little bit of an increase of people using tanning beds recently. And so that's one thing that we do emphasize is don't use tanning beds.
Interesting. How do you protect yourself? I mean, we always talk about sunscreen and wear a hat, but are people not doing that as much as they should be?
Yeah, exactly. So the good thing is that these type of steps can be, it's actually quite easy to remember what you can do. It's very simple. What can be done is just avoiding sun exposure during peak hours. That's from 11 to 3.
Okay.
So we're not saying don't go outside at all, right? We want people to be active, enjoy the outdoors. In beautiful BC, it is very nice to go hiking, but just time those when the sun rays are less intense. So to avoid the hours between 11 to 3. And then when you're going outside, wear protective clothing. So tightly woven clothing is a good idea. And also clothes that can protect as much skin as possible. Where you can't protect your skin, then tend to use sunscreen in those areas. Usually sunscreen of at least an SPF of 30 is recommended.
Okay.
And then also try to seek shade whenever possible. So if there's something that you can have a shade structure, that's always a good idea.
I find that people, I mean, I know in the past it's been confusion over how much sunscreen to use. So is cream better than the spray? Are they both good? And how much should you use? And how often should you reapply?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just to get some sunscreen on. So cream versus lotion versus spray, it really comes down to somebody's preference of what they like to apply. So then that's what's important. In terms of how much to apply, most people do under apply, so that's a good thing to go over. We tell people if they're applying it for the whole body to use 2 tablespoons, so that's about 30 milliliters, so 2 tablespoons. And then if they're applying part of their arm, then it would be like a teaspoon for like one whole arm, the other leg, so, or the face would be a teaspoon.
A teaspoon for every major appendage,
yeah, exactly.
I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way of remembering it.
Okay, well, lather up, everyone. Sun's out there. Dr. Sunil Kalia with BC Cancer, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
having me. Really good information. Well, from staying safe in the sun to staying fit in the office. Okay. Let's go, everybody. Grab a chair. Multitasking, working and working out. Your Friday morning sidebar is coming up.
All right, it is 7:53, and it is still cloudy. We're still getting some showers around, too. We'll be off and on throughout the morning, but they're gone by the afternoon with highs of about 14. So, yeah, we'll see some sunshine by the afternoon. Nice mix of sun and cloud coming Saturday and Sunday, and also through Monday and Tuesday. And those temperatures getting warm again, too. Back up to about 20 by Monday and 22 by Tuesday.
Did you guys get some good sunscreen tips there?
I did.
Very good ones,
so
yep.
A teaspoon for every, so a teaspoon for your face, each arm, teaspoon for each leg. That way you know you're covered.
My head takes 3 teaspoons. So.
It's a little bit more.
I'm going to have to start carrying measuring spoons around, just to be honest.
Yeah,
How was the 2-finger rule?
Well, he said it's like it's I clarified at the end. He said like a teaspoon on each thing.
Okay,
each leg, each arm.
If you see people slapping it on with a ladle, then you know.
Yeah, true.
Protect yourself is the bottom line.
Protect yourself. All right. Well, in that spirit, it's time now for your sidebar. Well, wedding season is here, and this bride and groom have their families fighting it out for their last name.
Wow.
This is a great idea. It's the battle of the surnames. Brett and Jenny couldn't decide which of their last names to take, so they made their families compete in various games at their reception. Well, this is at their wedding. In the end, the winner was Brett's family, so congratulations to the Borlands.
Wow. I mean, is this a good idea?
I love it. I mean, it's so, like, fun and jovial.
As long as it stays that way. Because, I mean, you know, what if Uncle Joe fell during the tug of war and now the family's mad that they didn't get to keep the name?
No, we never know. We can't fun police this. We have to let them do it.
Well, I mean, as long as everyone's happy, and I hope it works out for them, the Borlands.
This isn't the cheese roll. But it could soon turn into that. Well, finding time to work out can be hard for many unless you do it in your office. Oh. These employees at Fitness World Canada, Fitness World Canada, exercise in their office using their desks and chairs as equipment. They say that working out breaks up part of the job. And this video has gone viral with nearly 20 million viewers. And congratulations to my friend Hannah, who also works at Fitness World.
Now, I was going to say that most offices would probably not want this just based on like workplace safety.
Okay.
You don't want anyone getting injured on the job.
But for them, they're like,
that's their job.
This is part of it.
Yeah. That's
And
the
if you
risk
want
you
the
got to take.
back office see me doing that, I'll be fine.
Yeah, we will not be trying this at work. But good for you guys. Well, finally celebrating in silence because of a sleeping baby. Oh my goodness. Watch as this dad quietly cheers on the Montreal Canadiens as they make it into the playoffs. He made sure not to wake the newborn through his excitement.
No, there's a dad who's got his priorities straight.
No kidding.
Right? Yeah.
You know what, though? I feel like if you are going to be this fun, like, your baby's going to adjust to it all the time. Like, cheer.
No.
Maybe the newborn will just sleep through it.
All you're thinking about is making sure that baby doesn't wake up because you are exhausted.
Yeah, that's probably part of it, too.
I
It's
hope he still gets to celebrate after the
Well,
next,
I
the
think
next
so.
game.
Or
I
put
hope.
soundproofing up and put him in the room by himself.
Oh, yeah. Take the newborn upstairs if the game's on.
Well, he's a
Come
Habs
on
fan,
down.
so there's just only one more night. I hope he keeps celebrating.
Right.
One more night.
Good luck to them. That's all for your sidebar.
All right. A heads up, if you use the Selawasam Bridge, there will be a full closure of the span tonight. We'll have details just ahead. Also, the BC Conservative Party is about to get a new leader. The 5 candidates vying for the party's top job and when they're expected to learn. Also, the price tag for the World Cup is back in the spotlight. What hosting the World Cup games could cost BC and what the province expects to get back in return. Your top stories are coming up. We are set to learn more about the next phase of the contentious Broadway subway project as ongoing construction continues to be a source of frustration for businesses. Also, World Cup excitement is building, but how much money are BC taxpayers on the hook for? We'll get an update on World Cup costs this morning.
Our arguments are what the court found in New Brunswick.
And why a court case in New Brunswick could have some heavy implications for the Cowichan case here in BC. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Friday, May 29th. Welcome to Your Morning Vancouver. I'm Carrie Adams. The province is expected to give an update on the Broadway subway project this morning. BC Transportation Minister Mike Farnworth will be joined by Federal Minister of Housing Gregor Robertson and representatives from the City of Vancouver and TransLink for the announcement. The project, which has been in the works for more than 5 years, is a 5.7-kilometer extension of the existing Millennium Line SkyTrain service, stretching along the Broadway corridor to UBC. Now, some businesses in the area say the ongoing construction has led to a significant decline in customers. The new line is scheduled to open next fall. Well, the price tag for FIFA in Vancouver is back in the spotlight today. The BC government is set to release updated numbers this morning on what hosting World Cup games could cost and what the province expects to get back in return. CTV's Craig Krause is in Vancouver with more this morning. Good morning, Craig. And questions have been swirling for months about how much taxpayers will ultimately be spending.
There sure have been, and good morning, Carrie. So if you roll back the clocks back to last June, the province did unveil an estimated cost, and that was around $532 million to $624 million. But whether that's still the price tag remains unclear. This morning, we are expected to hear from Ministers Ravi Kahlon and Ann Kang, and they are going to roll out the numbers along with details on the economic impact the tournament could have on the region. Vancouver is set to host 7 matches during this tournament. The province is expecting about 350,000 fans to flood Vancouver for the games and another 1 million to visit BC over the next 5 years. BC Place also receives significant upgrades as part of the overall cost, including new elevators, scoreboard, locker room, and temporary grass field. And Canada's budget officer did unveil over the last several months an estimated cost for both Toronto and Vancouver, and that was around $1 billion. Whether the $624 million cap that was announced last year is still the case here remains unclear. Carrie?
Okay, Craig Krause joining us live this morning. Thanks, Craig.
Well, the Peony Fan Festival is supposed to be a way to be part of the FIFA action without the World Cup ticket prices, but it appears many are staying on the sidelines, at least for now. CTV's Martin McMahon has more.
Hastings Park will be the site of BC's largest fan destination during the tournament, but a quick look at the Ticket Leader website where the premium seats are being sold shows many tickets still available. Depending on the day and the match, you could pay as little as $44 or more than $100 for reserved seating at the new amphitheater. But for the head of the Vancouver Host Committee, there's little concern about sales.
People are starting to make their summer plans. I think kids are still in school, and a number of us, we make our plans as we get closer and closer to the end of the school year. We don't have that concern. And then insofar as the knockouts go, at this stage, we don't know who's going to be in those knockout matches. So people are still also waiting to see what's going to happen as the tournament itself unfolds.
That confidence is shared by the tourism minister as well, despite the slow start to sales outside of the final and matches involving Canada.
I can't really comment too much on Vancouver's budget, but I know that the tickets will sell well. According to the patterns of previous World Cups that were hosted in different cities.
We asked people if they think it's worth it to watch a game at the Fan Festival.
I think as the tournament gets through towards the final stages, I would definitely consider going. Good to be part of the hype and the vibe, and not everyone can get into the stadium as well for those key games for sure.
Honestly, $60 to just sit on the big screen, that's not something I'd consider.
I mean, if you can't be inside the game, the next best thing would be to be down there and have some fun.
The city would not directly answer what the financial consequences would be if many of these Fan Fest tickets go unsold, but is promising to provide more information at its update on tournament costs tomorrow. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, voting has officially wrapped up in the BC Conservative leadership race. Members of the party could vote electronically until 8 this morning, with the official announcement of the new leader expected tomorrow. The 5 candidates looking to replace former leader John Rustad are former BC Cabinet Minister Ian Black, commentator Caroline Elliott, former MP Carrie Lynn Finley, current MLA Peter Millibar, and entrepreneur Yuri Fulmer. Well, prosecutors are expected to withdraw more than a dozen murder charges against Kenneth Law today. Law is accused of selling deadly substances online to people at risk of self-harm, some of whom went on to take their own lives. CTV's Kamler Komali joins us now with more on this from Toronto. Good morning, Kamal. So Kenneth Law is due in court today, where he is expected to enter a guilty plea. What's the latest?
Carrie, he appeared just about an hour ago as the court proceedings began and said that he pleads guilty to all 14 counts and not to first-degree murder, but to aiding and abetting suicide. And we know that there was a lot of family of the victims in the courtroom at the time. Many of them shook their heads. Some sat quietly. Some were crying. We also know the Crown says it withdrew the 14 counts of first-degree murder, saying that they're dropping the murder charges because a previous court ruling made it impossible to proceed with murder charges, saying that this is the binding authority in Ontario, and this murder prosecution in this case, it's been made impossible. Now, just a bit of background for our viewers. Kenneth Law was arrested 3 years ago and is accused of mailing toxic substances, sodium nitrite specifically, and other materials around the world through websites he operated to people who would then allegedly use those materials and the substance to commit suicide. Now, the 14 charges that he has now pleaded guilty to just about an hour ago were specifically connected to 14 Ontarians. But we know that there are many, many more, with police saying the law Law sent more than 1,200 packages to 41 countries. That's how wide scale they allege his operation was. In the United Kingdom, police have tied 112 deaths there to those products, and around the world, a count by CTV News has found at least 150 deaths. So this is a wide-scale operation that Law was accused of, now pleading guilty to 14 aiding and abetting suicide charges in Ontario specifically, and the Crown withdrawing the first-degree murder charges. Have a listen to what one lawyer had to say about next steps related to sentencing.
There is, going to be a severe punishment here. So it's a maximum up to 14 years in prison. He's got multiple offenses. You're not going to see 14 year sentences on all of the charges, but there will be proportionality. The principles will be addressed of denunciation, in particular, and deterrence for this type of behavior. So it's going to be a significant sentence.
And so aiding for suicide is a 14-year sentence, as you heard there. But a first-degree murder charge related to this is a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. So a big difference there in terms of the sentencing that may be put down after this verdict.
CTV's Kemmer Komali joining us this morning with the very latest. Thanks for that.
Anytime, Carrie.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens are heading into a win or go home Game 5 in their Eastern Conference final tonight. The Habs have dropped 3 straight games and now trail the Hurricanes 3-1. Montreal has been outshot 109-43 in those 3 losses, so they'll definitely want to get more offense going if they want to survive tonight. Fingers crossed, would love to see them continue on in the series and at least make a series out of it at this point.
Especially since they did so well in the other 2 series too. And looks like they've lost a little bit of their magic that they had for a little momentum, but hopefully they get it back, right?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
The Carolina's not a pushover either, you know?
No.
They're a pretty good team. All right.
Anyone but Vegas.
There you go. That's our motto here. Anybody but Vegas. Let's get a look at our weather. CTV weather brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. The C's are back in the Nat. For tickets, visit CanadiansBaseball.com. They've got a game tonight and games over the weekend too. Will they be good tonight? Well, as far as the weather goes, yeah, probably. It'll be cloudy, and there's still a couple of showers lingering around this morning. We're sitting at about 13. It'll get up to 18 today, and you can see most of that cloud will be gone. It's a nooner today at about 1 o'clock, so hopefully the showers will be done and the cloud cover will start to clear up. It'll be pretty clear through the rest of the day. Tomorrow, we could see more cloud and maybe a couple of showers in the morning, but then into the afternoon, it starts to clear up again. So looks like a couple of 2 or 3 good days of baseball weather. And then today, we'll see the showers in the morning, clearing by the afternoon. We'll reach a high of about 19 today, and it'll be partly cloudy tonight with lows of 15. We'll check out the weekend and the rest of the 5-day forecast. Got that coming up in a few minutes. Carrie.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for that, Mark. We have some traffic to tell you about this morning. Let's take a look at the roads. Here's the Oak Street Bridge. That's the view this morning. Traffic moving along there. And a traffic note for you. Don't forget that the Stallawasam Bridge will close in both directions tonight at 9. It will reopen Monday at 5 a.m. So that will be a pretty big disruption over the weekend. That's the Stallawasam Bridge closing tonight at 9 in both directions. Open Monday at 5. And reports of a crash heading east on West 12th Avenue this morning at Burrard in the right lane. We are hearing that there are some delays in that area, so do watch for that as you head into the weekend. Well, you know him from Kim's Convenience and Run the Burbs. Actor Andrew Fung is getting ready to host the Canadian Screen Awards this weekend.
Hey, Kimps, you just visited an Aussie from down under. Oh, crikey. Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Okay, neither of you should be doing that accent.
We're going to speak with him about his upcoming hosting gig and what to expect from the awards. Stick around. We're back in a moment.
We're doing a soup. We're doing a rice bowl. We're doing something where the meat is stretched out.
And stretching out groceries and tightening wallets. Hacks to help you save at the supermarket when we return.
All right, time now for this morning's Skywatch, and here's a look at Victoria's Inner Harbor this morning. Still a lot of cloud around, too, and there could be a few more showers around not only Victoria, but right here around the south coast. However, everything's clearing out for a nice sunny afternoon and a pretty good weekend, too.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Hey, Kimps, you just visited an Aussie from down under. Oh, crikey. Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Okay, neither of you should be doing that accent.
Why?
He's known for his character in television shows Kim Convenience and Run the Burbs. Now, Andrew Fung is getting set for another adventure. He'll be hosting the Canadian Screen Awards this weekend, and he joins us this morning to share more about what we can expect. Andrew Fung, good morning. Good to meet you.
Good morning, Vancouver. Just a reminder, there's some congestion around Fraser Street and East King Edward Avenue.
Okay.
Look for alternate routes if you're headed that way.
Perfect. Thank you for the update this morning. Glad to know you're familiar with our traffic issues here. Hey, you're going to be hosting the big night in Canadian film and television. How are you feeling right now?
I feel oddly calm about it. I'm so excited. I've wanted this for so long. I love making TV and film in this country. I love celebrating people. And I think I want to bring awards culture to Canada. I want Canadians to get excited about the stuff we're making because honestly, it's like going around the world and it's such a special time in TV and film.
How does one prepare for hosting the Canadian Screen Awards?
Oh, you watch TV, you binge, you watch stuff, you watch movies, you consume. It's been a joy watching things with my kids and my wife and dissecting the movies. I also host a lot in my life. I host a lot of award shows and it's really fun. And that's my background is in improv comedy and hosting. And so shout out Vancouver Improv Festival. So many years I've been out there. And so it's something that's a part of my DNA. So I feel like this was something that was really natural evolution for me.
And you have won the Canadian Screen Awards a few times yourself. So describe how the nominees might be feeling right about now and what it means to be recognized at this level.
I think the nominees are always it's a little bit of should I be here? A little bit of self-doubt because it's a very Canadian thing to be really humble. And I always remind people, I'm you've earned this. You've earned this recognition. Enjoy this moment. Get dressed up, eat great food, reconnect with your peers. Also, I tell people, tell others that if you watch their work, what you've enjoyed about their work. It's a time as an industry we could celebrate one another. So yeah, it's an exciting time. I've been honored to win these before, so I'm so excited. This was it was vindication for long in this industry. I won my first CSA in 2017. It was you belong here. It was really nice.
Blue Heron is one of the contenders for Best Motion Picture. What can you share about the growth of Canadian film and television in recent years?
I think it's a really good critical mass of these films that have been developing because these movies have been in development for a long time. Blue Heron's a good example. Mile and Kicks, a lot of years in development. I think the filmmaking community has been really supportive of one another. You notice it in Q&As. You notice it in the camaraderie amongst film. And so I think it's a really good example of being in Canada. We have to work together. We have to help each other, which also is really cool because for the first year ever, the Canadian Screen Awards are airing on all the networks. All the networks are going to air them. And that's a sign of we're going to put down our differences and we are going to celebrate together for one day.
Yeah, and on that note, satire is a powerful societal tool. As of late, it has come under scrutiny and censorship in places like the United States. How pivotal is it to continue to hold the space for comedy in our society?
Oh, I think comedy is the ultimate truth teller. Comedy makes us laugh, but it's also meant to open our eyes. Some of the best stand-up comedians are the ones that tell these funny jokes, but they're also really right. They're have a point of view on something. So I think Canadians have done it so well. Canadian comedies have always been excellent. So I think it's more important now than ever.
Well, people are going to get a chance to see you and experience that comedy when you're on stage this weekend. Have fun hosting the 2026 Canadian Screen Awards. Andrew Fung, thanks for joining us.
I got a surprise for you.
Oh, you do?
I'm giving you a CSA. I'm giving you a CSA.
It's a weenie, weenie, wee one. That pretty much sums it up.
I couldn't be there. I wish I could be there, but I'm going to present you with the best virtual remote Zoom interview CSA interviewer. So thank you so much for having me.
I'd like to thank my family and the fans. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to be watching you. Have fun.
Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, the 2026 Canadian Screen Awards air Sunday, May 31st, starting at 5 p.m. local time on CTV and Crave. Make sure you tune in. Thanks for my award, Andrew. 8:20 here on Your Morning Vancouver. Food prices don't seem to be going down anytime soon, but there are plenty of ways to save on groceries.
We're doing a soup. We're doing a rice bowl. We're doing something where the meat is stretched out.
Yeah, stretching out ingredients and tightening wallets. We get some tips on how to save on groceries coming up. And thrill seekers stuck mid-ride at a park in Texas. How long they were left hanging there before rescue crews could get them all down. Stay with us.
All right, let's welcome in this week's Your Morning Vancouver weather star. We've got 10-year-old Kenton Warden with us. Hi, Kenton.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Good. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right, cool. So what school do you go to, by the way?
I go to Florence Nightingale Elementary.
Okay, and you're in grade?
5.
Grade 5? Okay, cool. And what do you like to do after school? What kind of
I like
sports
to
you like?
play basketball with my friends, and then when I get home, I like to draw and listen to music.
That's nice. Okay. Speaking of your friends, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to Nate, Mohammed, Devin, Nathan, Roberto, Gabe, and Anders.
Okay, you got them all in there?
I think so.
Okay, good. So because you won't get a hard time from them afterwards, right?
Yeah, I have
okay.
a few more.
All right, but here's your chance now. You're going to tell us the weather, so I'm going to move out of the way and let you give us the weather today.
Good morning. We've got a few showers this morning, but they should be gone around lunchtime. We will have sunny breaks for the afternoon, and it will get up to 18 degrees as well. We can enjoy a mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow and most of the weekend, with slightly warmer temperatures as well.
All right, great job. Yes, great job. You done this before?
No.
Oh, you could have fooled me. Anyway, listen, thanks again for coming in and be our weather star today, Kenton. And we look forward to hearing you give the forecast with our friends Nat and Drew on Move 103.5 later this morning.
Yeah.
And your child could become the next Your Morning Vancouver weather star and deliver the weather forecast on air. Enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen.
CTV Your Morning Vancouver's Weather Star is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Auto Glass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
All right, great job, Kenton. Let's wake up and win with CTV Your Morning. We could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is SAVE. Head to the contest page at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter SAVE with your info for your chance to win the Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest. So good luck. It's 8:25 on this Friday morning, and as Kenton told you, yes, it is cloudy, and yes, there's still a few showers kind of lingering around. We're at 13 degrees at the moment. Wind's picking up a little bit, but temperatures will pick up to about 19 later today. And look at this trifecta. That's our average for this time of year, and that's where we were last year, too. And on this date in 1983, we set a record high for the day at 30, and sunset tonight just after 9 o'clock. But we will see those showers move off into the afternoon. So, yeah, by the afternoon, it will start to clear up a little bit. This is around 1 o'clock. We'll start to see that cloud cover clear away, and in for a mainly sunny afternoon. Tomorrow morning, some of those showers may be back, but again, clearing off quite soon after that into the probably about noontime. We'll start to see the cloud clear away, and it'll be sunny as well, and being slightly warmer too by that time. 14 in Port Hardy today, and we'll see showers and then sun later right across Vancouver Island. 18 in Campbell River, Comox, also in Nanaimo, will be hit 19. 19 in Port Alberni. A little drier with sun and cloud out at Tofino today with highs of 15, but Victoria staying cloudy with some showers and then clearing later with highs of 17. Sunshine Coast, same conditions, 17 in Powell River and Sechelt. Up the Sea to Sky region, you'll see showers this morning in Squamish and Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, a couple more showers to go in the morning before clearing out, and temperatures reaching about 19. We'll get a mix of sun and cloud coming in the afternoon. So here's our 5 days. So tomorrow it'll be sun and cloud, and sun and cloud again on Sunday. Slightly warmer, 18 to 21 degrees inland, but look for a mix of sun and cloud on Monday and Tuesday with highs of 22 by Tuesday. Carrie.
Okay, shaping up to be a great week after the weekend. Thank you. Well, now to the rising price of groceries. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis and Elizabeth Schulze have some tricks to save on your bills.
After spending years finding ways to chop her own grocery bills in half, Allie Powell, a.k.a. the grocery getting girl, now helps families save money at the supermarket.
I share what I buy at the grocery store to feed my family of 4 for $150 a week.
Allie says it pays, or actually saves, to go alone.
I swear the second that your partner or your kids are with you, you start adding stuff into the cart that you weren't planning on.
And that plan is important. Allie says she can spend $10 for the entire family's meal when she substitutes meat for cheaper proteins like lentils and beans.
We try to do a meatless Monday every Monday. I also try to make dishes where meat isn't the star of the show. We're doing a soup. We're doing a rice bowl. We're doing something where the meat is stretched out.
But when you're buying shelf-stable items, remember, storage is important.
It's really important to store your produce in clear, see-through containers so you know what you have.
That's one of my favorite hacks. It easily lets me take a food audit before I head to the store.
Okay, so I see that I am running low on fruit, strawberries, grapes. We're definitely going to get some of those today.
I like the sales to dictate what I buy.
Take a look at this. These are on sale. So fruit for this week, it's going to be melons and grapes. Here's another one, 20% off chicken drumsticks. And that's what I'm going to use.
We like coming to this store mostly because they have the car shopping carts.
Building off Rebecca's tips, it also matters where you shop in the store.
One thing we've noticed is that the cheese in the front of the store tends to be more expensive than the cheese around the store in the back.
This is $9.99.
Back here, I find a 2 for $5 sale, and the food's actual placement matters too.
Instead of looking at eye level, look all the way down, much better deals.
And for a quick, cheap meal,
this is $10, usually lasts for 2 meals. Okay, we saved $17 from the coupons and the store's loyalty program. Not too bad.
Well, she probably spent like $250. So yeah, the $17 savings is good.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone's just doing what they can. I mean, definitely looking for the things that are on sale.
Yeah, flyers.
Yeah.
Check your flyers. Check the apps. There's some really great apps. I think Flip is a great flyer app. We've talked about before.
Oh, yeah, right.
What I don't like, though, and it's great to be, a super savvy shopper, is that these corporations make it so hard for you to save. Like, oh, you got to go down. What if someone has accessibility needs and can't go look below that shelf?
Oh, right.
Like, you're making it so difficult.
And they put the cheap cheese at the back of the store. And that's just marketing. And I always just go for like the no-name brands, and I look for those deals.
You go in with a plan.
Stick with the plan.
That's right.
And don't take your kids with you.
No.
Especially your teenagers. They always slip like donuts into the cart. So
honestly, or your partner. And in this case, I'm the problematic partner.
Oh, you are?
Because I like to get the nicer quality things.
But maybe if you go alone, you're making better choices?
Yeah,
oh, interesting.
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm a problem person too.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes,
but this looks so nice.
Yes.
Gosh.
Or I always say, why do we get this? I need this. Wait till it goes on sale.
Yeah, wait till it goes on sale.
Okay.
My kids always get mad at me when I come home with groceries because they want sweet stuff and I have lentils. So it's a real struggle.
Put some sugar on.
8:30. Here's a view of the Okanagan this morning. Yeah, cloudy out there for now. Of course, things can always change, but that's what it's shaping up to on a Friday morning. Here now is a look at your top stories. With the FIFA World Cup now just weeks away, the BC government is preparing to reveal a new look at the cost of hosting the games in Vancouver. Updated figures on spending, revenue, and the tournament's economic impact are expected this morning. Craig Krause joins us with more on this. So, Craig, there has been growing scrutiny over whether the costs are still climbing.
Absolutely, and that's one of the big questions that we're hoping to get answered this morning. Carrie, the province is expected to hold a press conference in a few hours from now to give an update on the price tag and a few other elements as well. But it was just last June when they unveiled a estimated price tag that would reach as high as $624 million. So this morning, Ministers Ravi Kahlon and Ann Kang are expected to hold this press conference and detail not only the price tag, but also the economic benefits the province believes the tournament will bring. Vancouver is set to host 7 World Cup matches, and officials say Vancouver could see about 350,000 visitors during the tournament, with another 1 million people expected to visit BC over the next 5 years. A report from Canada's budget officer estimates total spending between Vancouver and Toronto could exceed $1 billion. And again, like I mentioned, that press conference on the details of the price tag and other elements is expected in the coming hours this morning and could give taxpayers a clear vision of what's to come. Carrie?
Okay, Craig Krause joining us this morning. Thanks for your reports today, Craig.
Yeah.
Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up a trip to New York with a twist on a familiar slogan.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
That was the line that stole the show as Carney spoke to business leaders at the Economic Club of New York. It's one that U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra later said was, quote, worth repeating. Carney went on to say that his government has made practical proposals to the U.S. administration to move past the current era of tension. Carney is back in Ottawa this morning. Well, Canada is slipping into a technical recession as the economy appears to be stalling. That is according to a report from Statistics Canada. It says Canada's economic growth stalled in the first quarter and real gross domestic product was slightly negative on an annualized basis. Canada's real GDP has now declined for 2 consecutive quarters, which meets the definition of a technical recession. With all that being said, the report is estimating a sharp rebound of 0.04% growth for April. Well, to breaking news, U.S. President Donald Trump says the U.S. blockade on ships traveling through the Strait of Hormuz will now be lifted. Trump made the announcement on his Truth Social page. He writes, quote, ships caught in the strait due to our amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which will now be lifted, may start the process of heading home. He adds that Iran will complete the immediate removal of any mines from the strait. Well, to the Okanagan now. Penticton has issued a local state of emergency after a massive fire at a long-term care home under construction. It's being called devastating to seniors in the region. The fire was reported around 10 Wednesday night and quickly escalated into a 3-alarm blaze with 60 firefighters on site. An updated evacuation order was issued Thursday afternoon for 10 nearby properties due to an unstable crane at the site. No injuries have been reported. Infrastructure Minister Bowen Moss says the province is committed to ensuring that the Skaha Seniors community gets built. The 200-bed project was expected to be finished in 2028. Well, thrill seekers at an amusement park in Texas got more than they bargained for. They were on the Iron Shark roller coaster in Galveston when it stopped just before the top of the 30-meter vertical lift. Firefighters were called in to rescue 8 people. The park says the ride experienced a malfunction during its initial ascent and stopped immediately, as it was designed to do, to keep everyone safe. Well, Pope Leo may be in the market for a new Pope-mobile. A flashy one, too. The Pope had a chance to get behind the wheel of Ferrari's new electric vehicle called the Luce. Ferrari didn't give him the car, but they did present him with the steering wheel. The Pope has a reputation as a gearhead. He used to do his own repairs while serving as a missionary in Peru. Well, it's being called one of the largest explosions in space flight history.
This one was more of like more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
What the loss of a Blue Origin rocket means for the space race. And tonight's the night we learn Canada's final roster for the World Cup. Still to come, TSN's Camila Gonzalez joins us to break down the biggest questions ahead of the reveal. Stay with us.
Don't miss the FIFA Fan Festival, June 11th to July 19th. The historic PNE grounds is transforming into the ultimate destination for devoted football fans, families, and fun seekers alike. You could win a 4-pack of tickets to each day of the FIFA Fan Festival. Immerse yourself in live match broadcasts, global music, delicious food, and more. For your chance to win, enter online at ctvvancouver.ca or scan the QR code right now. Good luck.
Well, the countdown is on for Canada's home World Cup, and tonight we'll learn which players will make history as part of that squad. The men's national team will unveil its final 26-player roster live on TSN. The list is being trimmed from 32 players called into training camp this week, and several BC-born players are in that mix. TSN reporter Camila Gonzalez joins us now to break down the big questions ahead of tonight's reveal. Good morning, Camila. Good to see you.
Good morning, Carrie. So great to see you. And as you said, just such an exciting time for Canadian soccer today.
It really is. So first of all, what does this training camp roster say about where Canada stands and how ready this team is to compete?
Well, I think this training camp has been really important for Jesse Marsh because it really goes to show, first off, what is the back to play protocol for so many of these players? Canada has been dealing with a significant amount of injuries ahead of this tournament. And I think that these days in Charlotte has really given them a chance to maybe take a look at who will be ready to go ahead of June 12th. And again, it's also just showing just how young this squad is, how talented they are, the mental fortitude that Jesse Marsch is building for them. And if you look at Canada in 2022 versus Canada today in 2026, I think we have a team that is absolutely ready to compete, to win games, and hopefully win that group.
Of the 32 players at camp, what are the hardest cuts ahead for Coach Jess Marsch, what he's facing, and who is really on the bubble right now?
I do not envy Jesse Marsch at all, Carrie. He has his work cut out ahead of him just ahead of this summer. He's definitely been dealing with so many talented players. I think that for a Vancouver audience, someone like Jaden Nelson, someone like Ralph Priso, names that they know and love from the Whitecaps, are they going to make the team? I think that that's something that we're going to have to see tonight. Someone like Daniel Jevison, who, you know, there was concern about Promise David and whether he was healthy. Will Daniel Jevison make the squad? And I think a big name that Canadians have a question mark right now heading into tonight's roster reveal is Jacob Schaffelberg. He was definitely one of the star players that we've seen in past tournaments. He's a fan favorite. He has just not been really fit. He's not been fully training with the squad. And so I think that's a key name to look out for as well tonight to see whether or not he makes the cut.
Can we talk about the injuries? We saw we saw Alphonso Davies there. We're talking about shaping the roster with big names like him facing setbacks. How is that going to shape the roster?
Yeah, and I think, again, that's why this training camp was so important, was just to see at what point are the players, how is the recovery going? Alphonso Davies, Jesse Marsch has said earlier this week, will probably not be available for that first game. He's only going to be joining the team in Edmonton on May 31st. He's really stressed that he doesn't want to play players unless they're at 100%. And so with someone like Moise Bombito, for example, who was such a key player in the back line, the question remains, how fully fit will he be ahead of June 12th? We did get some good news, though, for example, with Promise David, who, again, is one of those key strikers in Belgium, and he was dealing with a massive injury. There was really big doubts on whether or not he would even be able to play in this World Cup, and Jesse Marsch has said that he is fully on track. So this camp has been important, and I think that if Canada is fully fit and we have all those players available, can have a very good tournament.
There is still a big question on who will start in net. What is the latest on the competition between Max Crepeau or Dane St. Clair?
Oh, Max versus Dane. We were so badly hoping that Jesse Marsch would have an answer ahead of these May friendlies, because I think it's important for the confidence of a starting keeper to go into a tournament with that full security that they are the starting keeper. But Max and Dane have both been struggling a little bit in the MLS this season. Just in their last MLS game, between the two of them, they allowed 10 goals. And I think that might have been a reason that Jesse Marsch is saying earlier this week he might still consider using one keeper for one friendly and one keeper for another. This is what he's done in past training camps. Is that the best strategy for ahead of a World Cup? We don't know, but I think Jesse Marsch, again, has his work cut out for him. And Max Crepeau did miss the 2022 World Cup after a horrific injury just days before the World Cup. So I think he's happy to be in the mix, happy to be going. And at this point, all we can do is wait for these two friendlies.
Well, and we'll wait for tonight to see what that final roster is shaping up to be. That's going to be live on TSN at 4 p.m. Pacific. TSN reporter Camila Gonzalez, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, Mark, it's going to be an exciting time because once we see that roster take shape, we're going to have a pretty good sense of what the team is going to be like. Yeah, good representation from former Whitecaps on there, especially if Max Crepeau gets in, because he played very well in that here when he was with the Whitecaps. And Alphonso Davies, come on, can't say anything else but magnificent, right? Let's get a look at our weather one more time. CTV weather brought to you by the Vancouver Canadians. The C's are back at the Nat. For tickets, visit CanadiansBaseball.com. And the game this afternoon, it should clear away just in time for the game. First pitch is at 1 o'clock, but it is cloudy right now, and we're still seeing showers kind of lingering around. And they will continue through the morning, but they're gone pretty close. Probably around noontime, you'll see the showers disappear. So things will work out for the game as it'll turn mainly sunny into the afternoon. And then tomorrow,
Another game on too, and then there may be some showers in the morning and then clearing up just in time for the afternoon. Sunday's looking pretty good too. Port Hardy will be 14 today, and we'll get showers and then sunny breaks right across the island. 18 in Campbell River and Comox, also in the Nanaimo will be 19. 19 in Port Alberni. Out of Tofino, drier mix of sun and cloud with highs of 15. And Victoria seeing a couple of showers this morning and then clearing with highs of 17. Showers and then clearing across the Sunshine Coast, 17 in Powell River and Sechelt, 19 in Squamish, 17 in Whistler. And here for the lower mainland, we're looking at some showers still lingering this morning, but then clearing out in the afternoon, and we'll reach a high today of about 19 degrees. So take a look at the 5-day. Nice mix of sun and cloud coming on Saturday. Sunday looks the same thing, and then Monday and Tuesday look a little bit warmer with temperatures anywhere from 20 to 22 degrees by Tuesday.
Right. Thanks, Mark. Well, a massive explosion last night in Cape Canaveral. It is being called one of the largest explosions in spaceflight history, and it could pose a major setback for NASA's upcoming missions to the moon. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
It was like something out of a disaster movie. A massive fireball erupting, lighting up the night sky over Cape Canaveral, Florida. A Blue Origin rocket exploding on the launch pad. Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos says all personnel are safe. No one was on board. The company says the rocket experienced an anomaly during an engine test for the massive 320-foot-tall New Glenn rocket, sending a massive shockwave rippling through the air. Before the explosion, 2 towers could be seen, one on either side of the rocket, to protect it from lightning. But now, only 1 tower remains. Residents in the area who've grown accustomed to space launches and failures say this one felt different.
This one was more of more of a violent shake. So we were all like, whoa, that's different.
Jeff Bezos saying it's too early to know the root cause, but we're already working to find it. Very rough day, but we'll rebuild whatever needs rebuilding and get back to flying. It's worth it. The explosion comes just days after NASA announced a nearly $500 million contract with Blue Origin to carry out various missions to the moon, including the deliveries of a lunar lander and lunar rovers using a New Glenn rocket.
Blue Origin had emerged as really a key player in NASA's efforts to return to the moon and really compete with China in that regard. And so this is pretty devastating to that effect, and it just increases the pressure on SpaceX to perform with its Starship vehicle. A lot of NASA's eggs are now in just a single basket.
Experts now predict delays, citing the loss of the rocket, but also the loss of the launch pad, which is the only one equipped to launch the New Glenn.
It takes more than a year to build these. These are probably multi-$100 million to billion-dollar facilities.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, it was a decades-long quest that ended up sparking joy for a whole community. Still to come, how a pair of dinosaurs from the States found a new home here. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Welcome back, everyone. Remember Mike McArdle? Sure do. Yes, of course. For decades, legendary reporter Mike McArdle inspired us with stories about the people and history of BC. And even though he retired from CTV last summer, Mike has not stopped writing. This time, Mike shares his own love story. And Mi Jung Lee sat down with him to talk about his new book and how he and Valerie navigated racism, health challenges, and loss. She passed away 2 years ago, but in remembering and writing, Mike gets to hold Valerie close again.
I say, how are you?
He makes sure there are always flowers because she loved them, and then he tells her what life is like without her.
I tell her I made the bed, there's no dishes in the sink, and had oatmeal for breakfast, just to end your day on something nice.
Over his legendary career, Mike McArdle told thousands of stories, wrote more than a dozen books. Now he's turning the lens on his most personal story, life with Valerie, his soulmate for nearly 60 years.
There was a lot of living she did, and I followed along, and she told me what to do.
Like when she asked Mike to pass her the leaf blower when she was on their roof again, cleaning off the needles. Much to the shock of her neighbors, she insisted on going up even in her 70s after Mike had fallen twice. Mike's book is called Girl on the Roof.
She always was driven. The motor, just one neighbor called her, she just didn't stop. And this came from a little thing at Van Dusen Gardens.
They would often be gardening well after dark, her legacy that Mike works hard to keep beautiful.
Would she be happy about this? No, because she was never happy with what. No, there's still more weeds there.
They tackled many weeds together after being married in the 1960s, at a time when interracial marriages were illegal in some states. Valerie's dad was black, her mom white, but Valerie was considered black in the States. They were newly married and had a terrifying encounter.
One night, the Ku Klux Klan came out on the road in front and put up a cross, and Valerie was terrified.
A few years later, to escape crime and racism in the States, they moved their family to Vancouver.
When we came to Canada, holy mackerel, it was so much better. Just incredibly better.
Some of Mike's favorite stories were the ones Valerie loved. People like Joe Fortes, Vancouver's first official lifeguard, and Nellie Yip Kwong, a white woman who married a Chinese man who fought for the Chinese community. People who overcame intense racism and then gave back.
She loved the Nellie house, and she took a couple of friends of hers there to see it and tell them the story.
Valerie worked tirelessly as a preschool teacher for decades, enlisting Mike's help on her creative projects. She was a dynamo despite lifelong pain after being attacked as a child, leaving her with a limp.
How tough was she? Immensely. Mentally and physically invincible.
What was it like for you to relive the memories and write this book about Valerie?
Oh, it was heartbreaking and wonderful, heart-mending. It was crying. I don't cry, but I was crying.
Valerie never wanted Mike to write about her.
I'm sorry, but I wanted to share you with everyone because you were so good.
Mike made Valerie a secret pathway that leads to the light. And the best view of all of it is from the roof.
The girl on the roof. Mm-hmm. Wow. And I know he talked about his wife so much, and but I wasn't familiar with all the details of that love story. So, so therapeutic for him to put that down in writing.
He seems to be doing really well. Like, he seems really happy and healthy, and I feel like the book, maybe writing that, was really a great part of his grieving process.
Yeah, exactly.
He seems well.
Yeah, and just going over those things and asking those same questions and just saying, how much, she has missed, but how much they still love one another.
Yeah, wonderful.
Love's still there.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark, for looking forward to the book. So now, the love story behind a pair of dinosaurs residing along a Victoria driveway. Here's your Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Dan Taylor was visiting the U.S. a couple decades ago when he first spotted a dinosaur outside a gas station.
It just kind of blew me away. Dino gasoline.
Since its commercials were black and white, Sinclair Gas's mascot has been a colorful dinosaur.
I thought, it's kind of cool. Maybe everyone should kind of have a dinosaur at some point.
But first, Dan had to meet Alex Whitman. And after he said hi to her at a cousin's wedding, neither wanted to say goodbye.
Talked the whole night and just had a fun conversation.
Although she lived in the U.S., he started handwriting her letters, which led to cross-border visits. And then Dan proposed.
I said, I think you're the one too. And then he flew down and we eloped.
Eventually, they staged a more traditional ceremony and had a couple kids. The only thing missing was a gas station dinosaur.
But it's impossible to get a hold of one.
Although Dan had tried everything he could to buy one for decades, he didn't know Alex was secretly doing the same, and finally did.
It fit exactly in my car, and the tail comes around, is like pointing here, and I'm like, oh, please don't get in a car accident.
After avoiding a prehistoric impaling, Alex staged an unforgettable Father's Day surprise.
I felt amazed and loved.
Dan and Alex's kids gave them names. This is Gerald, while the one with the mustache is Maurice.
When we're dead and gone, our kids aren't going to want China or glassware. They're going to want the dinosaurs.
Before they moved, their old neighbors begged for Gerald and Maurice to stay because they proved to be such a Jurassic spark for creating community.
There's a lady that took a walk every day and petted the dinosaurs.
Used to get decorated at Christmas, Easter bunny ears.
After they recently arrived in Canada, Dan surprised his colleagues by bringing Gerald to work, and now hope their new neighbors also find these driveway denizens dynamite.
I think it's important to get joy out of where you find it. And if it is a big blue dinosaur, impart joy onto others by doing that for other folks.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
If you have the space, why not?
Got a blue dinosaur kicking around? Yeah, put him in the front yard.
We all need a little bit more whimsy.
Yes.
So, sure.
It's the weekend.
It sure
It's
is.
Friday. Yeah. Big plans?
Need it.
Not as yet.
I'm going to say housework.
That's housework.
I don't know. Oh, my mom's coming this weekend.
Oh, it's
There you
big.
go.
Sorry,
There you
Mom.
go.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.
Having dinner with friends tonight. So.
Oh, okay. Too late.
Yeah, I know.